The Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's Senor Estes. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders Hill. I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers. The Rager Young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the Bird Gang Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk. Hitting like B-Dog, baby.
Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, Nation, we have a very special guest, or two very special guests in the house today from Shock Therapy. It is the LA Chargers podcast in the building. You know, what's up, guys? Go ahead and let everybody know who you are and where you're coming from.
What's going on? Bird Gang, thanks for having us. First off, I mean, I was already excited to come on and hop on the stream with you, but after that intro video, I am just, my excitement levels, just another level above that. Super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you, man.
I'm Tyler Lawrence. I'm also the co-host Shock Therapy podcast. Bro, that got me excited. You did you put those lyrics down?
No, I wish I did, man. Hey, shout out to Kevin Estes. You know what I'm saying? He hooked me up with a fat intro. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm very grateful for the guy. He's a local Philly rapper. You know, he hooked me up with that. You know, he's like, I like your content, man. I'm like, he goes, I rap. I'm like, hey, do you? I need an intro, my guy.
That's
he's
sweet.
Like,
yeah, we need
for you. I got you. And he came up with that. And then from day
the
one,
Philly cheesesteaks in there and
that was my
everything,
favorite part.
right.
Yeah.
And Cool Cat Connors. Shout out to Cool Cat Connors because Estes made the song. Cool Cat put the video with the song. So shout out to both of you guys. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all be in it.
Yeah, we need to step up our intro. We have a song. We don't have a video yet. So. And yeah, any Charger rappers out there want to put an intro together, let us hear it. We would love to hear that.
Right? See, that's how you do it. You go, you socialize on the net. You know what I'm saying? You find them rappers, say, hey, I listen to your music. It sounds good. There's another guy too. His name was, what was his name? Like something like Chris or something like that. But his name was Drew. And it's spelled funky, and he got videos here on YouTube, man. He had this one song called Bird Gang. It was ridiculously tight. Like, I would just take the song by itself and just make it the intro by itself. You know what I'm saying? It goes through the whole season of the Super Bowl year that we went through. It goes like from like the preseason all the way to the Super Bowl in one song, but I cannot find that guy to save my life, man. If I find that guy, man, I'm still going to have him do me another intro, see if I can get him to do me an intro, because that song is awesome. So
yeah, man,
let's get right into it, guys. How you guys doing today? And let me know how you guys are feeling about your team. You know, I need to know, how did y'all feel about the Chargers coming into the season? And now that you guys are 8 games in, how do you feel about the team?
You want to take that one first, Tyler?
Yeah, so I think that we're a Super Bowl caliber team, but missing. I mean, we got to get this run game cleaned up because they're struggling really, really badly there. We got pretty healthy overall for a team that's 8 games into the season. We don't have any real major players on IR. Thankful for that. That's all Brandon Staley's offseason program, kind of emphasizing the health of the team. I think that it's a Super Bowl caliber team that's just not playing up to a Super Bowl level right now. Ultimately is what I think that it comes down to. I mean, we got Justin Herbert. We got a star quarterback there. Struggling a little bit in the last game. Struggled a little bit against the Ravens, but overall, he's still at the top of his game. Just 2 years into his short career, and then it's a really young team. As these pieces start to progress, as they start to develop, you're going to see them get better and better each year. I feel like the Chargers are in a good place for the foreseeable future, even if this isn't their Super Bowl year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. I mean, we got a lot of pieces. You mentioned the quarterback, got the new coach coming. I think after the first 5 weeks, I was, my expectations were through the roof because it looked like we were just going to take off. And the Baltimore game and then this Patriots game this past weekend, brutal losses. It's a tale of two different teams. I thought the first 5 weeks we looked like one of the best teams in the AFC. The last 2 weeks we have not been that, not even close. So I think it's a good place to be. Definitely a lot of potential to tap into. We just haven't put all 3 phases together yet. I'm still waiting for a complete 4-quarter game. Hasn't materialized yet.
Hey, we finally just got one last week, and it was against the worst team in the NFL. But hey, it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like when it happened, like Nick Sirianni said, we finally sprouted. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy it happened. We finally ran the ball. I think like 40-something runs or something like that. That's ridiculous. I was very excited to see that. And I know it's against the Chargers, but not very many teams put up 44 points, period. You know what I'm saying? This is the NFL. It's really hard to do that. People get paid to stop that. So I am happy about it. It's not like a win in the Super Bowl, but it's just to get off that L train. It felt really good, man. What are some of you guys' weaknesses that you guys are concerned about right now?
Right off the back, it's the run game. I think that goes first and foremost. When you're giving up over 150, 160, 170 yards on the ground, I mean, how do you stop that if you don't have the defensive line to go and do that, especially when you have Brandon Staley, who's a defensive-minded head coach? That is, without a doubt, the main weakness of this team. It was special teams. I feel like we went and got some pieces through free agents. We got Andre Roberts, and then we picked up Dustin Hopkins. So I feel like we've kind of solidified that. I was really hoping with the trade deadline ending today that we would have picked up, traded for some kind of defensive tackle, something over Jerry Tillery and Justin Jones to help kind of mediate that run game.
Yeah, the run defense, that is definitely the biggest weakness for us. We have just been gashed on the ground, and it seems anytime opposing offenses need to get a big play on the ground, they're getting 5-6 yards, if not more. So that's the glaring obvious one. I'd say offensively, we're just so inconsistent, and what's really killing us is drop passes. Keenan Allen right now leading the league in drop passes. I don't even know what his number is at anymore, but it seems for every great throw Herbert is making, it's hitting these Chargers receivers in the hands, and they're just not making plays. So it's been very inconsistent on the offensive end. Also, just very frustrating things because the talent is there, and we're making the right play calls. We're just not executing.
Yeah, man. What do you think was the biggest reason why Herbert struggled these last 2 weeks? Besides the drop pass, I know you just hit it on that. Was there anything else you guys seen that was making him struggle out there?
For me, he has never really been. I think what you're seeing right now is he's having a really tough time dissecting pressures, and really a hard time when the Ravens and the Patriots are doing such a good job of disguising their coverages. When he can go to his first read, he is making that play 100 times out of 100 times. As soon as when you're disguising the coverage packages and you're throwing these exotic blitz packages and getting pressure from different levels, he's kind of, just turning into a different quarterback. He's not dealing with the pressure right these last couple of weeks, and that to me has been the biggest key. The biggest problem, not a key. If we can get that figured out moving forward, I mean, that's going to be a big, important factor for us to get things straight forward moving towards the second half of the season.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. That'd be good. How you guys liking Austin Eckler?
Dude, Eckler is an absolute beast. Tyler's having some connection issues.
Have
He'll
some
be back
connections
in.
coming right back.
I love Eckler. Absolutely do. I think he's one of the best all-around running backs in the league right now. I think he's starting to put that season together to get some, appreciation from the rest of the fan bases across the league. Like, I think he's a beast, and I thought he played one of his best games this past week. Banged up. He's not 100% healthy, but he's such a tough guy that if you give him the rock, he's going to do positive things with it. And I can't wait to get him healthy because he's a good player right now. He's missing that explosiveness to, just for these big explosive plays. Can't wait to get him fully healthy because right now he's playing well. He's just a little banged up.
Nice, man. Do you guys have any backups behind him doing anything?
So that's the biggest. We do not. Justin Jackson has been the inherent, the obvious running back two for us the last several years. But his problem is he can't stay on the field. And this season is just like any other. He left last week. Well, he busted a 75-yard run in the first quarter against the Patriots, then had to leave that game because of an injury. He's questionable for this week, so I don't think we're going to get him back. Behind him, Joshua Kelly out of UCLA. He's been super inconsistent. I was
going to ask you about him. I'm Kelly. I'm a USC Trojan, but I also like the Bruins over there too. I was going to say, how's he doing?
I really like Kelly. Last coaching staff last year, they just really didn't give him a chance at all. And it seems like this year he's kind of doing the same. It's kind of happening again. He's kind of just falling behind, just falling too far on the depth chart. He's been, I think, only suited up for 2 games this season, been a healthy scratch most of the season. We've been leaning on the rookie out of Cincinnati or Missouri, Larry Roundtree. And he had a great preseason, very physical runner, definitely the most physical runner we have in the backfield. But this hasn't been playing very well in the regular season. Haven't seen that success that he had in the preseason. So, just looking for the running game to get going. Eckler definitely needs some help. He's better when he could split carry 60-40 with somebody else. Right now, we just the second string to third string to fourth string, they're not showing up, not carrying their weight.
What about you guys at offensive line? Those guys doing good up there?
I like with the offensive line. Yeah, sorry, I keep cutting in and out. Don't know what's going on. My connection is abnormal for me. Usually Zach's the one with all these issues.
I know.
With the offensive line, I've been pleasantly surprised with every spot except right tackle. Storm Norton's been god awful. I don't know what's been going on over there. He has like spurts where he's playing pretty well, but you look at the
keep going in
we
and
have
out.
a problem. He said we have a problem.
Tough. I guess just to keep going off of Tyler saying, we are this new revamped offensive line for the Chargers. Way better than it's been in years past, but the right tackle, Storm Norton, definitely the weakest link. Really hurts that Brian Bulaga went down with his back injury. He's supposed to be coming back soon, but they just keep pushing back his return date week after week. So right now it's Storm Norton, and he has not been playing well, to say the least. Tyler, you back? You want to give your 2 cents on Storm Norton?
I don't know what's going on, man. I'm done talking about Storm Norton, you guys. But hey, the Chargers, their offensive line, their run game has been able to. I'm for the first like 3, 4, 5 weeks, we had a top 10 run offense, and it's not like we were breaking out 200-yard games or anything crazy like that. But we've been very consistent at opening runs. Matt Filer is one of the top graded run blockers in the NFL right now. I know he's kind of struggling a little bit in pass protection. And then we brought over Corey Linsley, who was an all-pro last year, best center in the NFL last season. I really like our offensive line. We're also struggling with injuries to Dave Bushey, who was lost to a torn ACL. And we've replaced him with a former Charger. Name's escaping me right now. But overall, it's that left side of the offensive line that's playing extremely well. The right side is starting to struggle a little bit, which you're starting to see right now.
Nice, nice. And then you're saying Allen's having some drop seat problems over there.
Yeah,
Give me a breakdown of your receivers. 'Cause one thing I did notice is those boys are tall. You know what I'm saying? Those are some big boys over there. Those are, I never think I've seen a receiving core. They're all like what 6'5" over there. You know what I'm saying? And
they're not all 6'5". I mean, Keenan Allen's 6'2", Mike Williams 6'5". I mean, Mike Williams is a stud. Also being used way differently than he has in the past. He's really turned into a true Charger, like true wide receiver one. And then as far as like who's wide receiver one there, I mean, Keenan Allen, everyone thought that, you know, he was definitely going to be the wide receiver one. He's getting outplayed by Mike Williams. Mike Williams is starting to earn that $15 million this year paycheck. Which it's nice to see. I hope that we can keep him this coming off season.
The problem with Mike Williams is I would love to be able to retain him, but kind of, you know, what Tyler was kind of alluding to there, he is playing so well for the first couple of weeks that I don't know if we're going to be able to retain him. I think he might be really pricey trying to sign him this offseason because he's playing himself into a huge contract. He's established himself as a legit wide receiver one, I think, in this league. I think that was a big asterisk on his, you know, whole career is like he's only a 50-50 guy. He can only go up and get jump balls, but what you're seeing is a complete receiver. He can run some routes. He can do some different things, and he's, like you said, very big and very physical. Like to see the ball in his hands.
So you don't think he can take over that spot over Keenan Allen? Is he that good? Or you think, like, you know, it'll make Keenan Allen more dispensable?
It's apples and oranges, man. They're two different players, right? Keenan Allen is your slot guy. He's not the one taking you deep at all, right? But he is your third down target. He's your fourth down target. He's one of the best route runners in the NFL. And he does play big he's 6'2". He is big, but he plays. You don't see like big guys 6'2" that are like capable route runners like he is. You just don't see that. And then we got a young stud, Josh Palmer. I don't know if you saw the Moss catch that toward the end of the game last week. The dude is not getting the targets that he deserves. I think he's really the future. If we do lose Mike Williams, it's because the emergence of Josh Palmer, who not very many people know who he is. 3rd round pick out of Tennessee last year. The guy's a stud. He can play. He runs angry routes. I'm really excited to see his development. I want to see him take an increased role as the season progresses.
I think the top dog in that receiving room is always going to be Keenan, just because if you know anything about the Chargers, he is definitely the heart and soul of this team. Derwin James on the defensive side, and then Keenan Allen on the offensive side. They give this Charger team juice. So, and then Mike Williams is kind of the reserved. He doesn't talk a whole lot. He makes big plays, but Keenan is really the emotional leader. So and then like Tyler was saying, they're very, very different. I would like to, you know, Keenan is much more the finesse guy, open 20, you know, whenever you want to get him the ball. Mike Williams is a much more physical, I think just a much more physical, better at the contested catches. So it's a bit, what do you like? Me personally, I think Keenan is the top dog, and he's one of my favorite Chargers of all time. So I just don't think it's going to take more than one season for Mike Williams to be able to dethrone Keenan as the top receiver in LA, I think.
Yeah, man. Now, how you guys liking your tight end and Cook over there?
Cook's cooking.
He's
cooking, man. He is. He's 34 years old. You don't see, you know, right around this age where tight ends really start to kind of lose their steam. You just look at Antonio Gates at 34 years old, totally different player. Hall of Famer, one of the best tight ends in NFL history. But something about that age, you know, 33, 34, you start to see a drop off. And Jared Cook is cooking. Like he looks, I mean, last season, the Saints really limited his snaps quite a bit. This year, they're not doing it. They're giving him plenty of targets. He's a legit vertical threat for them. And then you got also Donald Parham, who's 6'8". Like, how many guys can you even think of that are that big?
Big boy.
And he's deserving it. Yeah, he can run. He's fast. He'll 6'8" guys that are like sidestepping, you know, DBs. Like, you don't see that, right?
Right.
And then he's just hasn't been getting the targets either. He's another player that I think is deserving of some more snaps. He's a very similar player to Jared Cook in terms of that vertical threat ability. He's just a little young, and they're giving the veteran Jared Cook those snaps, which he is deserving of as well. So
I know you guys played the Patriots last week, right?
right,
So you guys got to see your old tight end over there, and Hunter Henry. Did you guys
that was
like Henry?
heartbreaking. I did. I wanted to resign him. I definitely wanted to resign Hunter Henry. But you get an opportunity to go play for Bill Belichick. How are you going to turn that down?
Right.
I know Bill Belichick was really wanting him during the draft process.
Yeah, just to keep this thing going. Hunter Henry leaving, that one hurt. Obviously a great pass catcher, but I think a big part of his game that's super underrated is his ability to pass or run block. And I think you saw some good blocking from him in this Charger game. The Patriots, whenever they needed to get some chunk yardage, they went to the run game and they got big plays every time. And I think Hunter Henry is a big part of that success. Jonnu Smith too. Both of those guys, great pass catchers, underrated run blockers.
Yeah, man. So you think Cooks is an upgrade or about par from what Henry brought to that offense?
I still think he's a downgrade.
He's a downgrade.
A downgrade?
He is.
He is.
He is a downgrade because Hunter Henry has the talent to be like a top tight end in this league. He's dealt with a lot of injuries, and I really, really liked Hunter Henry. I liked the fact that he had that close relationship with Justin Herbert last season. But overall, I think Hunter Henry is one of the best tight ends in the league because he's a really...
Hunter Henry is great, and I definitely do think Jared Cook is a slight downgrade just because of where they are at in their careers. Cook definitely on the tail end, if not the end. Hunter Henry right there approaching his prime. So just because of that, I'd much rather have Hunter Henry. I think the ceiling is there, but what you get with Cook is just a consistent guy. I think he has at least 7 touchdowns.
Reliability.
He's reliable, and he knows where to be. He's really building a good rapport these last couple of weeks with Justin Herbert. Herbert's been relying on him a little bit more, and I think all of that is because he is a super reliable guy. If you're going to throw it his direction, he's going to come down with it more often than not.
And the last thing I want to say about that is he's got familiarity with his coaching staff, with
That's
the
true.
Saints
That's
offense,
big.
right? Is the fact that the Chargers are bringing over the Saints offense, which is very complicated, lots of sets, and he is a coach out on the field for a lot of those players who don't know the scheme, don't understand the scheme that Pete Carmichael installed with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, Richie, we do got another gate-like tight end in Tyree Jackson. I can't wait till you start playing, my guy. I thought as soon as Ertz was out of there, we are going to start seeing some Tyree Jackson, but he hasn't made the field yet. Maybe he makes a debut this week. He's another big guy, 4'3", 6'5", 6'6", tight end out there, that's looking to make some big plays. Let's see. We got a question for you. I said, which 3 rookies have impressed you the most so far this year?
I think the most impressive, me and Tyler have been talking about it on our pod. We think we need a Los Angeles specific parade just for this draft pick, and it was the Rashawn Slater. To me, that guy is the best pick we've had. And not only is he one of the greatest rookies right now, he's one of the best tackles in the game, period. Mm-hmm. He's only allowed 12 pressures, over 300 snaps of pass protection. The dude's an absolute beast, having career games against guys like Myles Garrett, handled Chase Young and Montez Sweat week 1, went up against some really, really dominant pass rushers, held his own in his first year. I'm really, really excited and happy with what I've seen from Rashawn Slater.
Mm-hmm. And then 2 more. He's in.
Tyler, who is your favorite rookie that you've seen so far?
If it's not Rashawn Slater, it's got to be Asante Samuel Jr. I mean, he plays so much.
Asante Samuel Jr. is the next guy on my list too. Already couple interceptions, one rookie of the month, the first year or the first month. Tell me more about Asante Samuel Jr. Tyler, what do you love about him?
Asante Samuel Jr., dude, he plays, he's small guy, but he plays big. He's one of those really good, like, get up in your face, mix it up with you type of players. He was a rookie of the week 2 weeks in a row, week 2 and 3, I believe. Had an awesome interception on a Patrick Mahomes no-look pass, which made me feel so good that that's going to happen if Patrick Mahomes is even going to attempt that against these Chargers. The guy's been balling out. He's allowed less than 50% on his targets, receptions on targets. He's been balling out, and he's been one of my favorite players to the early part of this season.
Nice. And then you guys got one more for him?
I think it has to be. Those are easily the best two. Just been so productive. The other ones haven't really got a whole lot of chances to perform. But I think just looking at the rest of the rookie class, I think the best, the biggest chance of being a contributor sooner rather than later is Josh Palmer. Like Tyler was saying earlier, that guy needs to be getting more snaps. He is too talented to be the fourth receiver in this offense. I'd like to see him getting some chances, getting some shots to show what he can do, because he is great. I think he's really a good combination of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. He has the physical nature that Mike Williams brings. He can go up and get a ball, but then he is a much meaner, more precise route runner, similar to Keenan. He's not Keenan, but much better route runner than Mike Williams is.
Yeah, man, and that's true, Richie. All of us did want Asante Samuels Jr. We ended up with Landon Dickerson, so we got to see how that one pans out. Right now, we're kind of mad about it because, Asante's having a great year, and Landon's doing good. He just, it's going to take a little bit more time. He's getting adapted. He didn't get an off season and things like that, but I think he's playing good, and hopefully by the 2-3 more games, he'll be playing at a higher level. Now that we're running the ball, he's able to use his strengths, and start moving man instead of doing the whole backpedal thing. That wasn't doing good for us for a couple of weeks there on our offensive side of the ball. But yeah, Rich, I agree with you. So let's jump over to that.
I'll tell you what, we are going to give him all the love he deserves over here in Los Angeles. I'll tell you that. We are very, very excited for this young man and a long career ahead of him, for sure.
Yeah, Asante. And, he came from his dad, man. Everybody know his daddy. His dad, he's like one
dog.
of the best corners. You know what I'm saying?
And you could tell. And I love Asante Samuel Jr. Just, he doesn't want to be his dad. He wants to be his own guy so bad. And I think that's, the exact mentality you want from a guy sharing the same name as you. And, you can't really, that mentality, which is why I love pairing him with a guy like Derwin James. They just bring that dog mentality that, not scared of anybody, just want to out physical you, want to outbeat you every play. I just love that mentality in my football players.
Oh, yeah, me too, man. That's why we wanted him here in Philly. He would have did great in the Midnight Green, my guy. It would have been a great thing. But, hey, we got Landon. I'm not tripping. Landon's one of the best linemen in the league, too, coming out of draft this last year. So I'm happy with him, and I think by the end of this season, everybody else in Philadelphia will be happy with him as well. Let's jump to your defensive side of the ball. How's that D-line looking?
The D-line is
Bosa.
Hurting.
Everybody knows Bosa.
Well, and that's the problem right now. There's nobody else showing up. Bosa is allowed to be doubled, even triple teamed at times. And nobody else is picking up the slack. Feasting on one-on-ones. We're creating a ton of pressure, just not being able to finish it, not being able to get to the quarterback. And what you're seeing is, if you look at the box scores, it looks like Joey Bosa is a non-factor, and it really is, because teams are allowed to triple team him. And on the other side of the line, we're getting no push. We're getting blown off the line on one-on-one blocks, and the rest of the defensive line has not shown up. I was really excited to see Uchenna Nwosu is a guy who has been sitting behind Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram when we had him for a long time. Was very, very productive in the limited snaps that he did receive during those couple of years. I thought he was going to be, as a starter, going to really flourish. He really hasn't put it together. A big offseason signing we had was Kyler Fackrell. I thought he was due for a double-digit sack season. He has 2 right now, and besides that, really not contributing. So I'd love to see the defense. Linval Joseph, or D-tackle, he's been playing well. He's just getting a little outmatched. There's nobody else helping him. Justin Jones has been our run stuff in defensive tackle. It has been a starter who's been injured. We got him back last week. He did play well, but for the most part, the defensive line has not been. The majority of the defensive line has been playing very, very
So
poorly.
you're just saying run the ball opposite of Bosa.
That's what they're doing. Well, and teams are doing that. They're figuring that out. I don't know why people want to say Joey Bosa is not a good run defender. He definitely is. And if you watch the tape, their teams are specifically running away from him because he is a good run defender. The problem is they're allowed to double and triple team him because the rest of the defensive line has been playing so bad.
Yeah. And
I'm back.
my boy from USC, you know I love USC, Grant. I like that. You know what I'm saying? You need to get him on the field. And maybe you got to be playing a little bit better on that D-line. Oh, he's a linebacker, ain't he?
Nwosu, no. Yeah, go ahead.
He's kind of like
Tweener.
he's a tweener, right? Like he's a
definitely.
light defensive end. He's a better outside linebacker in my opinion. He could play in the middle if you really want to. I know early in his career he played the Sam role under the Gus Bradley 4-3 early in, and then they moved him to defensive end. He's kind of a tweener, right? Like he's a really light defensive end is my opinion on it.
He's a player that if we were drafting him again, it would say edge next to his name because that's what he is. He's good pass rusher, and he could, that's his role.
You got to run that 3-4, right?
Yeah, we did move to a 3-4, but I mean, ultimately, like, what is it really when you're playing nickel all the time, right? Like, we have 4 or 5 defensive linemen nearly every play. We're one of the few teams that will run, 5 defensive linemen. We'll have a true nose tackle, Linval Joseph. It's our 3-4 defensive ends that I think are the issue here, not really as much edge. I think it's the Jerry Tillery. I put all the blame on Jerry Tillery. I put it all,
hate this
all
man.
my blame on Jerry Tillery. But
How you
Christian
guys
Evans,
think Bosa's going to do against Lane Johnson or Mailata?
it's interesting. That is interesting. I think you guys are going to double and triple team him because that's what every other team's been doing.
Yeah.
They've been really focusing on Bosa. I mean, I'm seeing so many highlight reels where Bosa isn't getting pressure, and it's because he's getting chipped by the running back and double teamed
Into
by
a
the
double
guard and
team,
tackle.
right.
Guard, tackle, tight end. Like he's getting double and triple teamed like every play, and that's where you're seeing the lack of production.
Yeah, I think if we are able to see Bosa one-on-one on either of those tackles, it's going to be a big day for Bosa. Like we've been alluding to, though, for the last several minutes, teams don't have to do that because we're getting no type of pass rush from any other guy on the defensive line. So it's going to be a Bosa versus Philly offensive line matchup. That's going to be the key.
Nice. I'd seen didn't the Steelers cut Melvin Ingram? Would you guys want him back on your squad?
He's with the Chiefs. They didn't cut him.
Oh,
They
They
traded
traded
him
him for
for a
they
sixth
traded him
round.
for a 6th. Yeah.
that is what happened.
I would have loved to see Melvin Ingram back because Melvin Ingram's also one of my favorite Chargers. I mean, the guy could throw a football 100 yards. Like you could hear it. Like I remember watching I think it was like NFL Films or something like that, where they're actually showing a video of him throwing a football 100 yards in college, which is just insane. He's got one of those mentalities where I'm the best player on the field no matter what. He was a longtime Charger. Really sucks to see him go to a division rival with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it's painful, right? It's painful.
Right.
it hurts.
But it's a good landing spot for him because they are in desperate need of defensive line help. I mean, they have Chris Jones, who's playing out of position because they moved him to defensive end, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. But they needed the help out there. They had a strong interior defensive line there, so they decided to move Chris Jones out. I honestly don't think he's been playing all that well off the edge either. So,
Well, and I think the biggest reason I think most Charger fans were okay with letting Ingram go is because we saw all this potential in Uchenna Nwosu, right? We like I was saying before, like we gave him in his limited snaps behind those two guys, he played really well. Now that he's getting starter minutes, that production has not
They've been
been the same. No.
he's a straight speed rusher is what he is.
Yeah.
Though. That's the issue too is this scheme on the defensive line. The Chargers play a gap and a half scheme, meaning you're in charge of your gap, but you also have to fall back into your secondary gap. It's the same exact defense that the Rams ran last season, but the Rams had the personnel to play that. And Uchenna, he's a little bit out of position playing that role. He should be more of like a stand-up and just go off the edge, and that's not what they're asking him to do, and that's part of the issue with this run defense. Kyler Fackrell, who had 11 sacks in 2019 with the Packers, he's had some moments where he's shined because he's come, untouched at the quarterback. It's hard not to shine in that type of situation, but he's not getting, he's not playing up to that level. And we were actually pretty high on Kyler Fackrell. It just hasn't come to fruition. I just think that the Chargers defensive line is missing the right personnel to play the scheme that they want to play.
Yeah. Which Bosa brother do you guys think is better?
It's Joey, without a doubt. Little brother, it's totally different. Now, don't get me wrong. Nick Bosa is a stud. He's a beast, but he also has a really strong defensive line there in San Francisco that's helping him. Bosa's doing it all on his own.
I think we're both definitely biased, but I think it's Joey. They're both very productive. I think you got to give it to Joey because he doesn't have the running mates that Nick does. The San Francisco defensive line is one of the best in the league. Can't really say that for the Los Angeles defensive line, and you really haven't been able to say that since Jamal Williams, Luis Castillo were on this team in the early 2000s. So, yeah, I got to go Joey 100% of the time.
And what was your guys' team prediction, record prediction before the season? Has that changed at all?
I think I said 12-5. I think we're on track, I guess, right? 4-3, 8-6. Maybe not quite on track, but not too far away either.
So you're still on path with that?
Yeah, so I think that the second half of their schedule is much easier, right? Like much, much easier. We played the Chiefs. The Raiders actually are surprisingly good, which they shouldn't be. I still don't understand how they are 5-2 going into this, but
they got better when they got Gruden out of there. Really have these last couple of weeks. I was really impressed when they played us. I thought the Raiders have gotten better since they got rid of Gruden.
Since we're talking about Packers, you guys heard about Henry Ruggs today, right?
Yeah, man. That was crazy.
Ouch.
That was crazy, man.
DUI and somebody died in a car accident? That's terrible.
Awful.
Yeah, man. He's going that might be the end of his career.
That's
that's a big deal.
That's manslaughter at minimal, right? That's some hard time. What, 8 years I think is the minimum for manslaughter?
Yeah. Like they were saying though, he should have got an Uber, man. What are you doing now at 3 o'clock? I know it's the whole Vegas life or whatever, but 3 o'clock in the morning, you call Uber when you got that kind of money. You don't even risk it.
Exactly. I call Uber now and I don't got that kind of money.
Right?
Yeah,
I call Uber just for the convenience.
Shout out to the family of that whoever got died there, and wish you guys the best in your mourning process. And yeah, man, watch out for Ruggs. He was really good. He was like leading the league in yards per catch, right? Wasn't he? Like
something crazy
explosive,
like that.
very, very explosive.
Yeah, he was doing some big things this year, man. But you gotta watch out. Any given moment of your life, man. If you're not being careful, doing the right thing at the right time, it can all come crashing down that fast on you. But yeah, let's see what we got going on in here. Who's you guys' toughest opponent so far this year, you think?
Ravens? It's got to be the Ravens. They blew us out. I mean,
the Ravens,
and they're playing really well, even with all the injuries that they've sustained. I mean, you lost Marcus Peters, you lost your top 3 running backs. They're not very healthy on the offensive line. They're still like a top team in the NFL, which makes you think how scary good they would be had they. Now we don't got a YouTube channel, guys. We'll get there eventually. But that Ravens team is for real. And I mean, their quarterback is playing outstanding football, and he's doing it through the air somehow, which is not his game. So I don't know how you're going to stop them. They've gotten better, and their roster has gotten worse, but they've gotten better, which that is a scary dynamic, especially once they start getting some guys back.
How do you guys normally fare against athletic quarterbacks in general? Is that the only one you guys faced so far, Lamar?
No, Patrick Mahomes. We seem to play him pretty well every year. I mean, this is the first time that, what is the Ravens quarterback's name? Lamar. This is the first time he's beaten us, and we've played him twice. We played him once in the playoffs. I think we played them last season. We beat them last season. I don't know. I feel like we usually get burned by athletic quarterbacks, but the ones that matter, the games that matter, we haven't really had that much of an issue.
And typically that has been something that has been a big issue for our Charger defenses. But this year we've been doing really well, minus the Ravens game. Patrick Mahomes and against Dallas, we're able to keep those athletic quarterbacks pinned in the pocket. We didn't let them get out and extend plays with their legs. We did a very, very good job in those two games. Against the Ravens, not so much. And you saw us get blown out because of it.
Well, even against the Ravens, Lamar Jackson didn't have a great day on the ground or through the air. So we managed to keep him at bay. And then same thing with Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, do you know Patrick Mahomes is leading the league in interceptions right now?
Yeah,
Crazy.
man, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's on my boy Hurts, you know what I'm saying? Oh, trade Hurts, bench Hurts. I'm like, have you guys not been watching Patty? You know what I'm saying? Just because he got that fat contract doesn't mean he don't need any grief or nothing like that, you know? He's definitely leading the league in turnovers. He had like 17 turnovers, something like that.
Yeah,
right
he's
not
playing well
at all.
But I think overall, most quarterbacks have not played very well against us. I mean, the quarterback that played the best against us, it has to be Baker Mayfield.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, Baker had the 300. Yeah, he showed out that game.
Baker has those games though, where sometimes he just lights it up. You know, that's what keeps his name relevant, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, Baker does. He can do it sometimes. Sometimes he can do it with his legs too. You know what I'm saying? He can get out of that pocket and run for some yards too. You know, them sooner quarterbacks, they can run and pass. You know, Kyler, Baker, Jalen. You know, these boys can do both. You know, that's just this program that kicks them out. So, Grant said, what are 3 keys to victories for the Eagles to beat you guys? And what are 3 keys to victories for the Chargers to beat the Eagles?
I think there's only one key to beating the Chargers, and it's running the ball. That's the only key you need to focus in on. Run the ball away from Bosa as your key matchup number 2, and key number 3 is run the ball in the red zone. Just run the ball. By the way, speaking of Eagles, I'll let you answer your part of it here in a sec, Zach. I hate how you guys are using Miles Sanders. I know he's injured right now. I hate the way you guys use Miles Sanders.
What's up, Maurice? That's my boy.
Young. We've been asking for them to pound the rock the whole year long. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why we have so many losses. I think some of those games we could have won. Like, I feel like we could have beat the Niners. I feel the only game I feel like we probably couldn't have won is that Dallas game. You know what I'm saying? They just outright beat us. But all those other losses, I think, you know, we had the Chiefs on the ropes before they like broke out at the end of the game. But like, if we would have ran the ball, stop having so many penalties, we could have won a lot of these games, man. But you know, last week it was the first week where we've been running. Like, the last 2 weeks we actually been picking up our run game, which is a good thing, you know. So hopefully when Miles Sanders come back, I think if Miles was here last week, he probably would have had like a 200-yard game against, you know, the Lions, you know what I'm saying, the way they were running the ball. But you know, when he gets back, hopefully the coaches keep that run game going, and I could totally see him having a great end of the season type run there.
I'd like to see you guys use him kind of like Saquon. Like, just run the ball. Give him like 25 carries a game. Let him be your lead back. I mean, he was one of the best college football players to, like, through the, like, breaking tackles. Like, he was one of the best at doing that. And you guys, I hate the way you guys utilize.
Trust me, we hate it, man. We hate it. Every week we're like the same thing. It kind of got redundant. It's like, all you gotta do is run the ball. Just run the ball, man.
Yeah, and
like,
we were saying the same thing. We have to stop the run.
Possession, your offensive line won't be hurt all the time because your back pedal needs 300-pound linemen all the time. You know, the defense don't have to be on the field so much because, you know, 3 and outs with the pass, get your defense back out there. You know, a lot of things cured by running the ball that we weren't doing. But like I said, the last 2 weeks, Nick Sirianni's been running the ball. And like we said, we hope he picks up the trend. You know, we go against you guys. You guys are like last or second to last in the league. And
we're last.
In the run.
We are worse.
So, okay, last in the league. Worse. In the run. So hopefully he's, you know, in his coaching book and realizes that, and we can just keep this run game going. You know, even though we don't have Sanders, we got Howard. He played pretty good last week. Boston Scott's been doing his thing. Kenny Gainwell's the rookie that we need to get him some more touches out there. So, keep running these guys. Run them all until Miles get back, and then run him when he gets back too. This is November, December. This is running the ball football nowadays. When you're in this part of
Yeah.
the year, you got to be able to run that rock. If you're not running that rock, you're probably not winning too many games.
Zach, what are the keys to the Chargers winning this game?
Well, just backing up, I think another key matchup for the Eagles to consider. Chargers are really, really beat up in the cornerback room. Asante Samuel Jr. went down with and went into concussion protocol in the Patriots game. We're not sure if we're going to get him back this week. Also, our fastest corner in Michael Davis, he pulled up early in the Patriots game with a hamstring injury. We're not sure if we're going to get him back. So your speed on the outside with Devontae Smith and Rieger, that really terrifies me because we aren't really a very speedy backfield to begin with. Now two of our better, more athletic, faster corners are going to be out. So that's something I'm also worried about.
So he is out? Are you saying
run defense?
Are you saying
They're questionable, but Asante Samuel and Michael Davis are both questionable. If I'd have to
that'd be
guess,
so nice if the Slim Reaper doesn't have to go against Asante Samuel Jr.
he might not. And what's unfortunate about that is Asante Samuel Jr. went down twice in that game. First, both on very, very awkward, going up to break down a pass and then just coming down, landing very awkwardly. He was able to return, but the second time they took him into the tent, he did not come back. So the fact that he went down twice makes me feel like it's not just concussion protocol. If it was just the one, I'd say, okay, he just has to clear the test and he'll be good to go. I think he also hurt something else and is also dealing with concussion protocol. But that's just me kind of speculating, seeing what I saw.
Injury report's not out yet, so we don't know.
He's a little bit smaller, that'd be something you guys have to worry about for the rest of the season?
What was that?
You think with the injury, having them come in and out, that'd be something you guys have to worry about the rest of the season, or you just think it's just, right now type of
Take them out. Take them out. Save them for the back half of the season.
Yeah.
I'm always on that. I'm always on the rest them.
I say rest him, especially with a guy who's so young, who's shown so much promise. We just got him in the second round. That is a guy you want to build towards, longevity with that guy.
Has he missed any other time this year so far?
No. This is his first any type of hiccup at all, health wise, that I know of. I don't think he
throughout his
had
whole
much of
college
it.
career.
Yeah, I didn't even remember an injury history in Florida State. So, just something to monitor. Like Tyler said, the injury report hasn't came out yet, so I'm just going off of what I saw on Sunday.
And to be honest, just looking at your guys' roster, nothing against Jalen Reagor or Devontae Smith, but those are two really young players. I feel like if you're going to rest your starters against any team, the Eagles' record isn't all that great. I feel like this is, and I'm not trying to bag on the Eagles. I'm just looking at the Eagles.
Not all that great.
You guys don't have
not that great. Not to be
you guys don't have a true wide receiver one. I mean, Devontae Smith as a rookie has been pretty freaking good. I love Jalen Reagor. I loved him coming out of the draft. That guy's super fast.
Out of those three. I think
Are you
Quez
really?
could be our number one receiver for real. Like he balls out whenever he's around the ball, he catches it. You know what I'm saying? He catches contested catches. He's the fastest one out of all of them. You know what I'm saying? He picked up his route running ability this year. To Quez is real. I feel like we do not give him enough targets because we try to feature Devontae Smith in that passing game more. But it's well deserving. You know, he is a Heisman Trophy winner. You know, he is big time in Devontae Smith. But at the same time, like you guys said, he's a rookie. He needs time to develop, get used to getting jammed. You know, he's a little guy. So that like the receivers like to jam him up. I mean, corners like to jam him up at the line. And he got to learn his way through the NFL. This is not college. You know what I'm saying? You're not wide open every play. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was getting double team in college, it seemed like he had more free releases to help use his speed to get open. Now these guys know that in the pros, and they're jamming him up. You know what I'm saying? So he's done all right so far. Like, I'm not hating on him at all. You know, I like Devontae Smith, but I think, you know, Quez was here last year, and that was some of the same problems that Quez had. as a rookie coming in, you know what I'm saying? And he took the whole off season and he trained, you know what I'm saying? He worked on his route running. You know, he got a little bit bigger, plus he's taller, a little bit more physical than Devontae Smith. And I think you just need to target him a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? I really don't think our offense with all these young pieces, there's a lot of speed, you know. Rager looks good whenever, you know, you're using them right in that slot. You know, jet sweeps, things like that. That's something that, you know, he just started last game, and he looked really good on that. I think that's where you need to keep him at, in that slot position, you know, working on linebackers, working on safeties, you know what I'm saying, like the third corner. Let him do his thing with that, you know what I'm saying, and then use your Devontae Smiths, your Quez Watkins on the outside, the bigger guys, to go down the field and stretch the field out. So, you know, hopefully we get some more targets this way. Like I said, like these guys are young. I would rather it not be anybody featured, you know. Let Jalen go every play and just throw it to whoever's open, you know what I'm saying? Like have to have certain play scheme up for each one of them as opposed to, like, sometimes I think Nick gets into his, when he's in his pass happy mode, he like sets the same play up for Devontae Smith to keep doing like the similar routes over and over again, and that's where you see Jalen go to all the time. And you know, we don't need none of that. None of those guys are really like true number one jet. You know, they're still young in their progression, but they all got talent. They definitely can produce, you know, when they get called upon. But like I said, Quez is looking like the one that, you know what I'm saying, like we can feature Quez Watkins. Like his speed is like that Tyreek Hill speed, and he can get out there and he can get open. So
I got a question. Yeah. Why is JJ Arcega-Whiteside still on your team?
JJ is our best run blocking receiver. He is literally on the team for that purpose.
Put him at tight end, bro, only, because you know, it's not working. It's not working.
But everybody wants the umbrella man off the team, man. We've been trying to get him off since last year, man. But the coaching staff love his run blocking abilities. Yeah.
So you're putting him in, and you're showing your hand. You're showing your hand. Yeah, you're showing your hand. Oh, JJ's on the field. Yo, it's our run. We're going right to him.
Which way are we running the ball? You see?
You guys need to get rid of that fool.
Yeah, he is kind of trash, but you know, I don't know why the coaching staff keeps him. But like I said, he runs blocks really good, and as long as he's doing something productive for our offense, you know what I'm saying, you can't hate him too much. I don't know why he plays. Him and Ward, you know what I'm saying, Ward is another guy that's kind of smaller. You know, I feel like they were just like Ward was really a fan favorite more because we didn't have no receivers and he was the only one catching the ball.
I like Greg Ward in his role. I like him. I like him in his role. You know, he knows his role. He reminds me a little bit of like Malcolm Floyd. Malcolm Floyd was never like a top receiver, but he was productive in the way that he was used. I don't know if you know who Malcolm Floyd is. He's a Charger favorite for sure.
Yeah.
But for sure, like Greg Ward in the role that you guys have him in, he's a good player for you guys.
Yeah, but for me, it's just like I'd rather see more Quez than having these guys. Like those 2 weeks back to back costing us games like touchdowns. It was 1 week with JJ, you know, with his little pass interference in the end zone, those pick plays, you know what I'm saying? And like you can't have guys in the red zone going in only for the red zone, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they brought him in, only for the red zone, and then they mess up, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather you have your three starters in Quez, Rager, and Smith all the time in the red zone, you know what I'm saying? Don't let these guys that are bench warmers just trying to make a play, you know what I'm saying? Like Ward came the next week and did the exact same thing, costed us touchdowns. So I'm not really big on, you know, if you're good, you would have been good already, you know what I'm saying? They both had opportunity to be good, like, you know, like I'm not, you know, you can build some people up, but you know, how many receivers really wasn't, you know, came out the first couple of years that wasn't good, that turned out like 4 years later to be great. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't really happen very often.
No, not in JJ's.
Yeah,
he's a bust, bro. You could call it what it is. He's a bust. He was a second-round draft pick. He was drafted pretty highly because he was a jump ball specialist, and it just hasn't worked out. So it's time to cut ties. Let him try to reinvigorate his career elsewhere because he's not doing it with.
Hey, he can come over to San Diego.
I'm good, bro. We got enough wide receivers over here.
LA, yeah.
I'll take KJ Hill and his 4.6 speed at wide receiver over JJ.
4.6 speed. That's horrible.
What
happened to
receiver?
Nasir.
You know, Nasir's still playing pretty well. Overall, you look at how he played as a rookie. He only played like 1-2 games. He was just on special teams. He was dealing with a a pulled, not a pulled hamstring, like a partially torn hamstring. So they ended up taking him out of the lineup. He wasn't starting anyways. Last season, being the single high safety in a cover 3 defense, that puts a lot of pressure on a player, right? Being able to play cover 2 where you get some help back there, right? And being able to play left to right, it makes things a lot easier on you. But trying to make tackles coming from that, deep third spot, like your angles of pursuit have to be perfect. And it didn't work out all that well. Naz has played much better. He's still not playing very well overall. I still think he's been a little bit of a liability. I know he's given up. He's putting himself out of position to make some plays, but he's still playing much better than he has in the previous season as a starter, and he's only getting better. And legitimately, he's getting better. So I'm not too worried about Naz. I feel like his development. Last year was his rookie season, legitimately like his first full season playing, right? And then this season, he's developing. That's what you want to see out of your young player. You're seeing him develop. He started off a little bit slower than we would like, but I'm seeing development, and that's all I care about right now.
Yeah, he's getting there. And I think we took him in the second round. Took him pretty highly. So you'd want to see him contributing faster, sooner. His development is slow, but he's going to get there. What I really like to see from him this season, he's laid some of the biggest hits from the entire team.
For sure.
He's been laying the hammer, coming down, filling up some lanes, laying the hat on some kids. Definitely the enforcer right now for the Charger defense.
And if you're going to go in for those big hits, you're going to miss them, right?
Yeah.
You have to take a specific angle of pursuit, and you have to take it aggressive. And he's been taking it aggressive, and you're going to see him, miss some tackles because that angle pursuit, if it's not 100% correct on the big hit, it's a touchdown. You saw that 2 weeks ago against the Ravens where I think it was a tight end he was coming up against. He was flying full speed at him, angle just a little bit off. And what was the name of it was the Browns. David Njoku is coming up for a big hit on David Njoku, and it went for like 80 yards. So, if you want him to be an enforcer, you're going to give up some. Brian Dawkins, he missed some. It happens. That's what happens.
Up, dog,
Hey, I love Brian Dawkins. He's one of my favorite safeties of all time.
Shout out to you, B-Dog. Hey, shout out to 16 in the chat. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you have not subscribed to Bird Gang 31's channel. And also, these guys got our iTunes, Spotify. Their link is inside of the chat. Please hit these guys up and give them a follow over there at those platforms.
Hey, I got one more thing for you guys. If you guys are interested in a magazine, I've already sold all of them. I actually wrote my own magazine. Zach edited it. It gives you a full breakdown of the Chargers off season. Nice. Yeah, you're going to see it. It's legit. Shoot me a shout out on Twitter at LAC Shock Therapy or at the THEE Masterbolt. I'll shoot you guys a PDF. Just send me an email and I'll shoot you guys a free copy. There it is.
You got a copy right there.
I got the 2 years ago. I don't know where my last year's version is, but I definitely have it somewhere.
I've written 2 magazines. That one right there.
Look at that signature though. Can you see that signature? That is this guy's going podcast. He's going somewhere. Look at that signature.
You gotta get that framed up, my guy.
I got it in my trophy case. Just don't have a stand for it yet. So it's in my trophy drawer for now.
So yeah, hit me up on Twitter. I'll send you guys a PDF. Just send me your guys' email address. I'll send it out for free. I was selling these things for $15 a pop. Now that it's already kind of after the season and all that, I'm willing to give it away for free. Just hit me up and I'll send you guys a free copy. And it's legit. The second one that I wrote was like my favorite so far. And the one I'm writing right now, which will be available, I want to say it'll probably be around January, February, right after the season starts. You guys will just follow me and ask me for it, and I'll set it up.
Heck yeah, man. That's what's up.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Grandizer. We'll definitely have to give your cousin an issue because it is great for the price. I'm obviously a huge Charger fan, but for the price, you really can't get a much better deal.
And it's free. It's gonna be free.
Right?
Tyler puts a lot of work into it. There's some good stuff in there. There's some good stuff in there.
6 months of writing, 68 pages, I think it was. It took me forever to write. I put a lot of blood, sweat, tears. I'm not gonna lie, I cried when I finished my writing my first one because it was a huge accomplishment on my part as a writer.
It's your baby.
But yeah, it's my baby, and the next one I'll end up selling. I always sell for the first couple months, and I ended up just giving it away after I run out of physical copies. I usually do about 100 copies a year, and then once I sell out, I send the PDFs for free. Yeah, purchasing it, just you're supporting me and being a writer. It's not my day job, it's just something I do on this side, but something I'll pass out to anybody who wants one.
Nice, man. Yeah, Deshaun Jackson's in LA. He just got cut. You guys want him?
No.
I don't think.
Yeah.
No.
I think I don't know. Our offense is in. I think that a big reason why you're seeing a lot of Jared Cook this year is because he's familiar with this offense. The other guys are still figuring it out. I don't think another receiver this far into it having to pick it up for the first time is really going to help, regardless of how talented they are. I just really don't see, especially Deshaun Jackson at this point in his career. He's a one-trick pony. I just don't see him making an impact. He's not going to fix our problems. Our problems right now are just chemistry thing, a feel thing. I don't think
D-Jax, come back home, my guy, because I'm always here for you, my guy. Where
I got
to go?
I got an explanation for you, right? So when you look at Deshaun Jackson, why did he want to leave the Rams? He wasn't getting targets. Yeah, he wasn't getting targets. And do you think he's going to get those targets in LA? Probably not. So number one, there.
That's
your
big.
guy was dropping the ball.
That's number one. Number two,
and
I don't care. You're not taking targets away from Keenan Allen. You're not doing that for Deshaun Jackson at 33, 34 years old. Number two, what's his next best ability? Punt return, kick return. We just signed Andre Roberts, who's a 2-time All-Pro. We've already shored up that position, so he's not going to do that there. Number three, and the most important reason to me, I feel like that takes snaps away from your younger guys, right? Josh Palmer, who we drafted in the 3rd round, it impedes his development. I just don't see a place for Deshaun Jackson on this roster that makes sense in a situation. Let's not talk about Melvin Gordon. We ain't got to talk about Melvin Gordon. I'm good on Melvin Gordon. But with Deshaun Jackson,
you miss him?
No, I don't. I like Melvin Gordon.
Not for his price.
I hate for Gordon, man. This is the second time.
It's not hate.
For Gordon is real.
It's not really.
I like Melvin Gordon. I do. I honestly do. But I'm not in on the Melvin Gordon train right now for a guy was injured a lot here in LA. For a guy who wants money, he's a little greedy. And we offered him a pretty damn good contract, and he was just trying to get paid, right? And you gotta know your worth.
Money. I like the guy. I think the way he handled his last season or two here, kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yo, I just got Bitcoin from Aaron Rodgers. No fucking shit. $10. Bitcoin. I got $10. I got $10 from Bitcoin. You heard about the Aaron Rodgers paid in Bitcoin?
No.
Yo, he's giving out $1 million worth of Bitcoin, and he just sent me $10 on his Cash App. Low shit, like that's legit.
How you do that?
All right.
Come on, A-Rod, send me some Bitcoin.
I'll take $10.
Yo, I got $10 from A-Rod for sending out my Cash App. He partnered with like Bitcoin and Cash App, and he was giving away $1 million in Bitcoin, and he just sent me $10 in Bitcoin. Me and him are buddies. I don't know if you guys know this. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. We're buddies. We're friends. Both from California. You know how it is.
Cali. California. I love it there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess just to answer Marianne's question, he's not bad. He's a good player. He's just not worth $15 million, which is what he was demanding. We offered him a 5-year contract, giving him $10 million a year. That's huge.
4 years.
Oh, 4 years at $10 million a year. Either way, I thought that was a hefty sum to pay. He's just not, and he thought he was worth more. Price tag just didn't make sense, and his time with the team just kind of ran its course. Great player, he's just not worth what he wants to be paid.
So he got State Farm insurance. That's how you got
discount. Double check.
I'm stoked right now, bro. I gotta
That
give
is-
two
that's tight.
pumps.
Did you have to
Two
apply
pumps.
for it or something?
Dope,
Or
huh?
is it
Yeah,
like a
so-
link you go to or something?
I'll send it to you guys. It's I forgot what it was. Hold on, I'll find it for you. It was a video that he posted where he was like talking about how he's partnering with Cash App. He's giving $1 million away in Bitcoin. If you guys look at his Twitter, go find his Twitter. Aaron Rodgers he's dressed up in John Wick because that's what he
Oh, I
was
saw
for.
that.
Yeah, for
Nice.
that. And he's like he
Kills
said that
the
if you
John Wick
drop
combo, or costume,
Yeah.
by the way.
He said that if you drop your Cash App in the comments or whatever below, he's giving away $1 million in Bitcoin. I thought he was just giving it to one person. Like, I thought he was like, yo, $1 million in Bitcoin to one person, but apparently he's giving it out to like as many people that actually went on that. That's legit.
Oh, we definitely going on A-Rod. Hey, A-Rod, I'm gonna give you 3 different accounts. My guy, hook up my Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? It's gonna be a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game, a defensive battle, or offensive shootout?
I think offensive shootouts favor the Chargers. I think the biggest key is what version of Justin Herbert are we going to get? Because if we're going to get the Justin Herbert the last 2 weeks, who has just put a total QBR of 16, the worst mark
Woo!
in the past 2 weeks, 3 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. If we get that Justin Herbert, it's going to be another long day. But if we get the Justin Herbert that threw for 13 touchdowns and 3 picks through the first 6 weeks of the season, it's going to be a good game. I think it really goes down to what version of Justin Herbert we get come Sunday.
Well, hopefully we get the 16% Justin Herbert.
I hope we do not. I am so sick of this, Justin. I do not know. I did not recognize this guy. Yeah. I think it's really
Justin Herbert,
uncharacteristic.
that contract will be paid in Bitcoin.
Sure. Why not? We want to keep him for as long as we can. I'm really impressed with the kid. I think these last 2 starts are really going to be outliers when you look back at his career. I really am waiting for him to get it back on track because these last.
He can wait 1 more week.
No, I think it happens this week. I think it
Like you
happens
guys
this
said,
week.
you guys want to sit Asante down for a week, let him recover. Or maybe you guys should go ahead and let Herbert recover. You know,
No.
think about his situation a little bit more, just for 1 week. And then after next week, bring them back out. Bring them both back out. And then you guys go on your little run there.
I think you're going to see, honestly, though, a much improved Justin Herbert over the last couple of weeks. I just don't see him being worse than he was the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I think a big part of that was the game plan the Ravens and the Patriots came with. No offense to the Eagles, I just don't think they have the Jim Harbaugh. They just don't have the Bill Belichick, and I think that's going to be.
We got the best defensive line in football, my guy.
That's fair.
No, you don't. You have a good defensive line. I don't
Yeah.
think it's the best.
We
defensive
haven't been
line.
used to the best of our abilities by our coaches. That's why, like I said, our record, we should be like at least 4-2 or 3.
Look,
No,
I'll-
5
I'll give you
2
guys-
right now.
I'll
know
give
what
you
I'm
the
saying? With the
best-
team, the talent. These coaches has been keeping us back, and now the coaches got called out on national media, and now they're starting to learn how to coach better. And I think now we're gonna hit a nice little streak here.
I think you guys have the best interior defensive line in football. Your edge rushers are good, decent players, but you guys don't have a true.
Sweaty
Like-
got 2 sacks, my guy. Barnett got a sack last week. That's 3 sacks on the.
Wait, hold on. You're playing the Lions. You know that, right? Like,
The Lions.
you know who you
Winless
played
Lions.
last week.
Rams to the distance. The Lions.
I
took
don't
the
think-
Niners to the distance.
I think you guys-
They played some good teams to the wire. We just
I think you
came
guys are
prepared.
halfway in a rebuild, halfway
Our
out.
flowers
You guys don't
sprouted.
know.
Our flowers sprouted.
You guys are halfway in a rebuild, halfway out, and you guys don't know which direction you're headed.
After
You-
your flowers sprout, you only grow more leaves and branches. Okay, so
Yeah, but it's
Nick
winter.
said we finally.
But it's
sprouted,
winter.
So you guys
But it's
funny.
winter. No, I don't think that you guys are. I don't think your guys' roster is just as talented as ours is. Legitimately, I don't think that you guys have as talented of a roster. I know Nick Sirianni because he was coached with the Chargers for like 5, 6, 7 years. Like we know Nick Sirianni. He's not a bad coach. He's not a head football coach.
That is what
Um,
I was going to ask you guys. Your take on Nick and Steichen.
I like Steichen, honestly. I do. I'm one of the minority in that. I don't think that the issues with the Chargers offense last season was his fault necessarily. I think it was the fact that he was being forced to run the ball as much as he did under Anthony Lynn. I actually liked I actually liked his play calling for the most part. The
Ravens. What are you talking about? They're 0-8.
I didn't say the Lions breed. Oh, you're talking about somebody else. Yeah. I like Nick Sirianni as like a position coach, right? I don't think he's a head coach. You guys had a good coach. You guys fired him because you guys weren't playing very well. I liked Doug
he was
Peterson.
part of the reason why we wasn't playing very well.
Maybe, but as a head coach, like he was actually a pretty damn good head coach there for a while.
He gave us a Super Bowl. I give him that. He got us a Super Bowl. But I think his head got too big after that Super Bowl. And for now, I'm really starting to think that Frank Wright is the main piece there. You know what I'm saying? Because after we won that Super Bowl, we got
another Charger coach.
Yeah. After we got rid of Frank Wright, then our offense kind of tailed down, right? And then we went and tried to go get another Frank Wright and Nick Sirianni, and we're finding out that he's not really Frank Wright either. So I think Frank Wright was really that guy we should have got as our head coach and Kelp as our coach. And
the Colts have had success under him. Yeah. Right? The Colts have been playing pretty damn well.
Yeah. So.
I just don't think you guys are in any position to compete this year.
We're going to Super Bowl guy.
You're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to win your division. You're not going to win your division.
That's still possible, man. We got 9 games left.
Anything is possible.
The Cowboys, they always do at the beginning, and then they go like this at the end of the season.
But the Cowboys are a good team.
I think they're legit.
They are, but their defense is still ranked like 27. Man, they can still go down. They can go down,
but they got rid of Jalen Smith, which was smart.
Like, especially teams that don't have new coaches and stuff like that. They start out hot. And I'm not hating on Cowboys. Like, they are good this year. They beat the brakes off of us this time, but I think we got on week 17.
They're a good team. I don't think that you guys got them. I think you guys are gonna finish right in the middle of the pack. I'll give you guys like what's 50 now.
I feel like the Cowboys
500.
I don't think you can go 500.
7 is it
playoffs?
Is it 9 and 8 and 9? I'll give you guys 8 and 9. You guys are gonna finish just under 500.
And you tie week 17 against the
6 or 10 and 7.
I like that. You're gonna tie
double digits, guy. I said that from the beginning. No way in heck should we go under 10 wins this season. Our schedule is so cupcake sauce. After you guys, it goes straight like
so
this.
you guys are going to be a fake good team is what you're telling me.
The Giants twice. Washington football team don't even have a quarterback. All these cupcake teams we got after. You got to realize we played the hardest schedule first 6 weeks pretty much.
That's how we were.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we had some big-time players for a first-year coach, second-year quarterback, young receivers. Like, to go against that schedule in the beginning of the year.
NFL standings right now.
That's pretty rough, man. I was hoping we can go 3-3, 4-2, but we went 2-4, whatever. It's still in that range. But everybody expected that. You should have expected that because I didn't expect them to go 6-0 or nothing against those guys. Those are awesome, good, really good football team. Look, the Cowboys doing good. The only one that's probably not doing that great, and that's Kansas City. But they just won. They might be on their little streak heading back upwards right now. So
I'll give you this. You want me to be brutally honest with you?
Brutally honest. That's all we like on this show, my guy.
All right, brutally honest. I don't think you guys are better than the Washington Notre Dame team.
Oh, wow.
Brutally honest, I don't think you are. I think that they have a better defense. I think they're really hurting at quarterback.
Where do they have the better defense?
They have the best defensive line.
We have better cornerbacks than them. We have better safeties than them.
Kendall Fuller, you guys don't have a corner better. Darius Slay is really good. All right, I'll give you Darius Slay. Avonte Maddox, right? Is he still on your team?
Pro Bowl right now, the way he's been playing.
So I'll give you Slay. Oh, you got Steven Nelson. Okay, you do have some pretty good corners.
I told you guys.
I like Kayvon Wallace, but I think he's still like a young player. Anthony Harris is legit. All right, so your secondary might be better, but their entire box is better than your box.
They have better linebackers.
They have better defensive line. Better defensive line. They have a better defensive line.
I didn't say better.
I'm telling you, they're better. Like
they're not better. Those young guys are not as good. Dude, Hargrave is leading.
Is Josh Sweat better than Chase Young?
They ain't one of those guys that have as many sacks as Hargrave.
Who's your best edge rusher? Legitimately, is it Sweat or is it Barnett?
Sweat.
All right, so it's
I think
Sweat.
He got like 4 sacks.
Is he better than Chase Young?
I'm not a big Chase Young guy, so you asked the wrong guy. I don't even think he's that great.
Zach.
He
No,
can
the
even
answer
do
is
nothing
no.
against our B
It's
team
not
last
even
year.
close.
We had third-team linemen in when we played Washington that one game we gave him, and he couldn't even get sacks on them. So why worry about Sweat?
Okay, so is he? He's not even the best Sweat on that team. Like Montez Sweat is also better. He is.
Who got
He is.
more
He's
sacks this
legitimate.
year? How many sacks has Chase got?
I don't know that answer.
I don't know off the top of my head, man. I'm a Charger fan. I know
I'm
Chargers
not on
fans.
Washington team, but I guarantee you don't have as many sacks as Sweat.
They're struggling. I mean, I was not
Yeah,
expecting
those guys
Washington
are
to be
struggling, and
struggling
that's all they
the way they
have
are.
is that front four. That's it. You know what I'm saying? They're all first-round talents, and they're all great because, they go to they're both two of them from Alabama. You know how Alabama roll. I'm
Yeah.
not hating on their talent level, but I'm just saying, like, we have Hargraves who's leading the league in pressures, in sacks for defensive tackles, and we got Fletcher Cox has always been like the best defensive tackle behind Aaron Donald. So it's like with those two guys by themselves, them two are better than those little young guys running around.
Okay, so this is interesting. So, Chase Young only has 1.5 sacks. That's crazy.
That is
Sweat
crazy.
got what, 3 or 4?
Montez has 4.
Boom.
All right, but I still
What about Josh Sweat?
Josh Sweat guys. 4, I
5?
think.
4.
5? 4 or 5, yeah. Sweat's been
I still don't think that their defensive line is as talented. They might be better today based off of production halfway through the season. I still don't think they're the better team.
well,
And that's
I
just me
think
being
we
brutally
could have
honest.
more if our coaches wasn't so stupid the first
Josh
5
Sweat has
games,
3.5.
6 games. We played
on, so
umbrella
Josh Sweat
defense.
has 3.5 sacks, so he's not even all that much more productive. He's not on track to even hit 10 sacks this season.
He got 9 games left.
And he's got 3.5 through 8 games.
Yeah, but you gotta realize we didn't play him that much, and our defense was called garbagely. Like nobody was producing nothing for weeks because our coach
Which is
kept
telling
us
me
in the
they're not a
shell.
playoff team. They're
I'm
the
telling you,
third
now that we're
best team in
blitzing-
their conference.
Now that we're blitzing, oh yeah, we're a playoff team. We're going to make it. We are going to make it. My
I like
guy.
the confidence. I mean,
And I'll make the bet with you that
This is the game.
Sweat ends up with more than Chase or Sweat from the other team, Washington
I'll
football.
make that bet. What's this bet?
Well, we got
$10 in
whatever you wanna
Bitcoin.
make it. Bitcoin, I guess. We can make those $10 in Bitcoin, my guy. No, I don't even have no Bitcoin.
I tell you what. I'll make that bet. Winner buys the other person a jersey.
All right.
Oh, this is
So you
big.
gotta buy me an Eagles jersey.
I'll buy you an Eagles jersey, or you buy me a Chargers jersey.
All right. Sweat having more than Chase Young. I can't do
What?
2 players.
No, we'll do Montez Sweat. Because they're kind of evenly matched.
What do you say,
3.5. Montez Sweat versus Josh Sweat. Who ends up with more sacks at the end of the season?
She said Sweat has 6 sacks.
No, I'm looking right. Oh, that's Josh Sweat. My bad. Montez Sweat on ESPN has 4 sacks. That's ESPN stats. I don't know. We'll go off ESPN. We won't go off of PFF because PFF likes to inflate their shit, and I don't
Why?
trust
What does
PFF.
PFF say?
I don't know. I'm not on PFF. I'm on
Oh.
ESPN. ESPN
I
says
thought
they have
he had
4.
more than 3.5 sacks too, though.
That's still ESPN. I mean, let's go Pro Football Reference.
So you said Montez Sweat.
Josh Sweat, Montez Sweat. Which
So we're
Sweat
making
is
a
better?
Sweat on Sweat bet.
Sweat on Sweat bet. I like that. Hashtag that.
Hashtag
Sweat on
Sweat on
Sweat.
Sweat bet. I'm down. I believe
Sweat
in
on
Josh.
Sweat bet.
I think the best is yet to come, so I'll take that bet.
If
But if they
If you-
get hurt, that's all.
I'll take the bet, but I don't
They have
want to
finish
screw
the
you out of
season
it.
too. They both have to finish the season. How about that? We add
So
that.
Montez
caveat.
Sweat has 4 sacks according to Pro Football Reference.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat has, according to Pro Football Reference, and this shit gonna load. Like, I love this. We're making bets on live feeds.
So you can come
A
back.
Sweat on Sweat bet.
Sweat on Sweat bets in effect.
It's not loading, but I'll take
Sweat
that bet.
has 3.5
Even on PFF.
on
I'm not on PFF. I don't
Football
really use
Reference.
PFF that often. Pro Football Reference. So
Okay,
there we
so
go.
he's
We're
a half a sack behind, is what he's saying.
half a sack behind.
Okay, as long as they okay, let's make this. They both have to stay healthy the rest of the year. I say that.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
then at the end of the year, sweat
Play
on
the
sweat
same
bet.
number of games. Play the same number of games.
Yeah. Sweat
All
on
right.
sweat
And
the
it's
rest
a
of
wash.
the year. Which sweat?
I love
Right.
this. I love this. Sweat on sweat
Deal.
bet.
Deal.
I got you. I got you.
And that's a camera fish bunt.
That's pretty sweet.
We got
Yeah.
that recorded, babe.
That's clever.
I love that. I love that.
That's awesome. I like it. I like it.
Wish we could have done like a Charger like Eagles bet. That would have been nice. It's all right though.
Ooh.
I have faith in Montez Sweat. I'm
I
good
think
with
our
it.
Sweat. 'Cause our defense, I'm telling you, we sprouted, my guy. The leaves are growing, and these coaches are growing and understanding their players. And I think now it's time to see the real Josh Sweat. Please stand up and make that money.
You
All right,
love the
and this will
flower
be just
analogy.
the cheap like $80 or $90 jersey or whatever. We're not doing no $300 jersey.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
just,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I got you.
Jersey.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Shake
ain't
on
gonna
it.
Go that way.
Shake
You know,
on
I got
it.
A lot of keys.
Shake on it
Yeah.
so everybody could see. Shake on it so everybody could see.
Huh?
Said shake on it so everybody could see.
Oh, we already.
There we go,
this is
you
already
got
locked
it.
Virtual
in.
Sweat. We did a virtual.
It's
fit,
locked
but now we
in.
got
I
virtual
like it.
sweat
This
going
is
on.
I
locked
like
in
it.
I
8
like
different
it.
ways now.
And we got 15 people in the chat. As reference, good job, guys. Good job. You guys remember this. The bet is on. I'm gonna write.
Hey,
it
get
down.
yourself some antiperspirant.
Love that.
And get some antiperspirant. He says.
All right,
So
man.
what
I
do you
think
guys
I
think
got to
the
get up out of here. So let's wrap this
All
up
right.
because
what
I
do you guys
got
think the
dinner.
score's gonna be?
What?
What's your score?
Score.
Predictions?
I'm gonna go 28-17 Chargers.
I think it's gonna be a little. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a low scoring one too. I'm gonna go 24-14 Chargers. I just don't see a whole lot of offense happening
And
on
I'm gonna
Sunday.
go 31-21 Eagles.
Woo!
I don't think you guys have the
Point.
offense for it, but we'll see.
10-point game. Miss Bird Gang said she's going 31-17 Eagles. I
31-17.
like it.
Shellacking. I mean, the last couple of weeks we have been just ran through. So,
Hey, you might
look at
get
the
us on a
last
good
2
week.
weeks.
You might
Well,
get us on a good week.
Now
They
I'm hoping,
definitely
like
have
you
us on a
said,
good week.
16% guy. Yeah, make sure he's coming to Philly. Do you
No,
guys
I don't
travel
want to see
good?
that.
You guys travel good? You guys, what's your guys' away record?
We
right now?
traveled better than any other team in the league because every single game is an away game, bro.
no,
every game.
no,
Every
no,
game's an
Please
away
don't be.
game.
Oh yeah, because you guys travel to LA basically.
Historically,
Yeah, basically.
historically, I would
Historically.
say expect no Charger fans. But this season specifically, we've been traveling pretty well. We had a big showing at Washington.
We did.
We had
That's
a
not
big.
saying much, but yeah.
No, they showed up, and so I expect to see more. You should expect to see more Charger fans at the link than normal, but it's not going to be. You're not going to have a full section of us. It'll be a couple of us scattered here and there.
Sprinkled in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll see
we're a
us in
new
there.
fan base. Honestly, this new Charger
Chargers?
hype. It's I'm just saying, like the it's been a very small, loyal fan base. I feel like I've known every fan. Up to a couple years ago, Herbert and moving to Los
Yeah.
Angeles has really brought a new group of fans that I've never seen. They didn't exist in San Diego. They were doing their own thing. They've
You guys
really
gotta
coming
remember-
out of their woodworks now.
You guys got to remember that the Chargers pissed off a lot of their fans when they
People are
moved,
mad.
so we're kind of starting over,
For
right?
real?
And we got
Like,
to.
a lot
That's
of people
true,
didn't
too.
carry on with that. They didn't like.
No.
People are still.
No, I live in San
upset.
Diego, bro. I live in San Diego. There are people that are super pissed that
That
we
is
left
fighting.
because,
Charger fans
Like
no
you get
more.
in a fight, like
They stop.
legit,
yeah,
No.
for sure.
devote and actively hate the Chargers now.
Kind of like Oakland whenever the Raiders leave Oakland. you
Yeah,
know
but
what I'm
the
saying?
Oakland already had a humongous fan base, right? It's
Yeah.
more closer to like St. Louis fans of the Rams. Like they're not fans anymore, right?
Yeah.
You took a whole fan base that was very like located in a central area of San Diego, and you move them to a rival city, which is Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
Yeah,
you're gonna get.
they didn't
It's not like the
Raiders,
Chargers.
Yeah, they didn't like the Raiders when they were there.
No, and the Raiders travel really well. They have one of the biggest fan bases out there.
Yeah, like the
Honestly, with Philly has some really hardcore fans. Which is funny because I feel like Philly fans also hate their own team. They do. It's funny is I've never seen a fan base that roots so hard and so against their own team. I mean, you guys will burn your own city down over your own team.
Loyal.
I'm telling you, like these guys, it's like 1 second, and next second, like I hate you. That's Philadelphia for you, that's for sure. I don't live there, but I have experienced some of that. And when I lived in California, when I was going to those Eagles games.
Yeah.
But let's do your all-time team. I know you got prepared for it, right? We got the all-time team come up. That's how we end the show here.
I'll let you start, Zach.
Like I said, this is you guys' team. So don't worry about it. Don't listen to the chat. This is you guys. So let's start with quarterbacks. Who's your all-time favorite Charger quarterback, and who will be backing them up?
Right now, so I'm just going off of mostly guys that I've been able to see.
That's
and if you're talking about my all-time favorite Charger quarterback, it's Phillip Rivers. That man put the city on his chest. Every game, regardless of if he had the talented team around him or not, he showed up, and it's hard to root against a guy like Phillip.
I mean, any guy who doesn't cuss when he talks trash, I mean, that's hilarious, right?
He's
like,
hilarious.
How do you not love that guy?
Right.
The sidearm slinger. Some people, I don't know how many fans know this, but we call him Felipe Rivos.
What?
Felipe Rios. Phillip Rivers, it's got a little Hispanic twist on it, right? For my quarterback, I know we had Drew Brees there for a long time. Stan Humphries took us to a Super Bowl, but the great Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts was doing things well before his time. He was like a legit, passing the ball first in there, in the 80s when that wasn't normal. Dan Fouts is also one of the few Hall of Famers that we have. Dan Fouts was legit. He helped modernize the NFL offenses into what it is today.
And a fantastic broadcaster now that his career's over. He's one of my favorites to listen to.
He is pretty good. I do watch some Fouts. Give me 3 running backs and a fullback.
Oh, 3 running backs and a fullback. Okay, because
usually I just do 3 running backs, but my boy, because they're always like, you got to throw in the fullback too, so we're going to add the fullback too, because I know you guys got a couple of good ones over there.
Well, the first running back, I mean, this guy got me into football. He's the reason I'm a Charger fan. He's the reason I love football so much, and it's LaDainian Tomlinson. That guy was just so insane, so great. He was like 200 yards at least every game for that guy. And then after the fact, when the games were not going on, such a great guy in the community, really did a lot of work around the community. So another guy I'm always rooting for.
Nice.
And I honestly thought that I was only going to get 3 running backs, and Lorenzo Neal was my number 2. Lorenzo Neal, if you're gonna pair anybody with LaDainian Tomlinson, it's gonna be Lorenzo Neal. I mean, the guy was the last true fullback in the NFL, one of the most monstrous guys. Also, super super nice guy. Mm-hmm. Lorenzo Neal is my RB2.
And who's your RB3?
My RB3, keep going, is Darren Sproles. Just so electric. You keep it going, Tyler. But I just have to put Sproles in there for his versatility. Could catch the ball, could run the ball even at his size, and the most electrifying kick and punt returner the Chargers have ever seen.
Yes.
Next, I know this is probably not normal because everybody wants to go with one of the old guys, but I love Austin Eckler. I know we got Nate from Means, but I love Eckler because Eckler is a do-it-all back. He's an undrafted free agent. He has such a cool story growing up on a farm in, Colorado, going to some unknown name school, Western Colorado, and his come up to being RB1 for the Chargers is just like a phenomenal story. I love Austin Eckler and everything he's done to this team, everything he means to this team. Also, one of the strongest guys, pound for pound. That's his nickname. I love Austin Eckler.
Nice. Richie said no Melvin Gordon.
No Melvin Gordon.
No,
Didn't
Melvin
make the
King.
list. Didn't make the
Honestly,
list.
Melvin Gordon isn't number 4, 5, 6. He's not in there. I would go Means. I would go Chuck
Natron was a
Muncy.
beast.
Yeah, Means was a fun guy to watch, but Eckler's not even. He might break the back end of the top 10 somewhere.
Nice. Give me 2 tight ends.
You're talking tight
It's
ends in Charger history. It's so easy. To me, first off, it's Gates, the best receiver, not even regardless of position, the best receiver in Charger franchise history. And then right after him is Kellen Winslow. Those guys were just so dominant.
El Coryell.
Big. Yeah, you can't really replicate those guys' skill sets. You guys are talking about your young up and coming tight end, calling him Mini Gates. I think that is very, very big shoes to fill because those guys are just insane.
Nice. Same for you, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, when you put tight ends down, you put the top 5. They're top 5 tight ends in NFL history, especially looking at what Kellen Winslow was able to do in his era. Yeah. You know, that's just insane. I think Kellen Winslow made the NFL top 100 list ever. So that, I mean, 2 of those players on the same team, Hunter Henry doesn't come anywhere close to that. I can't think of another tight end who does. What, Brandon Manuuno? What do you want me to say?
Just because I love the name. Freddie Jones.
Freddie Jones, but still nothing compared to Kellen Winslow, right?
It's such a drop off from those top 2 guys. That one was the easiest. I had a lot of fun, honestly, doing this.
There's a reason he said 2 and didn't even give me the chance to say Kellen Winslow because it was automatic.
Those are one of those questions. Yeah, you don't have to ask.
Well, here's 4 receivers. You can go 2 and 2 if you want.
I'll take the first 2 and I'll go a little old school. Lance Allworth, Bambi. I mean, he's one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. He got his own segment from Bill Belichick on the top 100 talking about him. And this guy is well before my time. This is in the 60s. And he was the NFL leader in, yards for 25 years before I think Jerry Rice broke his records. He was doing those things in the 60s, which is just insane to think. I think he has about 9,000 yards, just under the 10,000 yard threshold. 9,500 in an era where they ran the ball 50 times a game. That's absolutely incredible what he was able to do in his era.
9,500 yards in 110 games played. Average 85 yards a game. That dude was insane. I have him on my list too. Didn't get to see him.
In an era where they didn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
And then my number 2, I'll let you pick your 2, and I'll come back here in a second to tell you my guy.
Who? Okay. My number 2 right on the list behind Allworth is Keenan. I think that
Keenan
guy,
Allen.
He's amazing, and a guy who's not really expecting a whole lot of, coming out of Cal, a 3rd round pick, a guy who didn't have burning speed, really becoming one of the best players in the game right now. I love Keenan. He's right. I don't think you'll ever get the 9,500 receiving yards that Allworth put together, but he's such a fun player to watch. Keenan is definitely my favorite Charger on this current team for sure.
Okay.
Joyner.
Charlie Joyner. I got a Charlie Joyner signed Hall of Fame jersey. This is my favorite piece of my collection. Charlie Joyner, I don't know if you guys know this, he had all of his stats after 30. Insane. That's when most players drop off. He made the Hall of Fame for all the yards he started at 29 years old up until he was 38. Absolutely incredible player, one of the best players in Chargers history. Also, super nice guy. He was a coach on the Chargers for 10 years. He left, came back, and coached for another 5 years for the Chargers. I'm a huge Charlie Joyner fan, and that is my favorite piece of memorabilia that I own.
That's it. Yeah,
that's why I had to come back.
I did not think you were gonna go with him. For me, if we're gonna go 4, Malcolm Floyd is really hard to leave off this list, but I'm gonna go with the late great Vincent Jackson. Really, really liked that guy's game. When we had Vincent Jackson on the team, you're talking about tall receiving cores. We had Vincent Jackson 6'5", Malcolm Floyd 6'5". I think we had Kasim Osgood as our slot, and he was 6'4". Or no, Denario Alexander was our slot receiver at 6'4". Then we had Gates, our tight end, at 6'5". That's a big receiving room. I loved Vincent Jackson's game. Our first true 50-50 guy, who was more than that. I really liked Vincent Jackson's game. He was a very fun player to watch.
Nice. Who's going to be on that starting offensive line?
I'll go first. I think, again, I'm a big fan of Chargers history, old guys. Ron Mix, he's a Hall of Famer, played in the 60s back when the Chargers were in the AFL before they joined the NFL. One of those legit, old school, nitty-gritty guys. By the way, I don't know how many people know this, but he actually, after he retired, he started working as a lawyer, working on workers' compensation for NFL players, and really helped build out the NFLPA. Like, he had a major part in helping NFL players get the benefits that they have now. So that's one of my favorite players. He played offensive tackle and guard for the Chargers for 8 or 9 years.
Mix, you have to be in the mix with Mix. Not only was he one of the best Chargers, he's one of the best offensive linemen in NFL history. He only flagged for 2 holding penalties in 10 seasons. That's insane.
Very good.
Honestly, though, if we're talking, I am ready to put – there's no tackles really during my time being a Chargers fan that have really stood out to me more than Rashawn Slater. And I know he hasn't even put
the rookie Slater makes the list.
I know he hasn't even put a full season together. Rashawn Slater is already my favorite Charger tackle I've ever been able to see. He's just everything you want in an offensive lineman. Quiet, but wants to get after it. Doesn't want any. He told Austin Eckler in the middle of the game against Cleveland to stop chipping Myles Garrett. He wanted to do it all himself, and after that, did actually a really good job. So I love Slater. I love his mentality, and his play speaks for itself.
Nice.
That's really hard to leave off Marcus McNeil.
Yeah. I had to. I mean, McNeil was great, but he was on a very talented era for Charger football. But Slater he has that. I don't know. He makes me excited in a way that you don't really get it from an offensive lineman a lot. He has just an aura about him that I could just tell he's going to be special. And I'm already putting him on my all-time list. He's my favorite tackle I've ever seen.
Nice. So
that's insane.
That's 3?
So no, that's 2.
That's 2.
That's 2.
Oh, 2.
So I'll go guard again. I know Chargers history. We got to talk about Walt Sweeney, who played guard for the Chargers from 1963 to 1975. He's a 2-time All-Pro. He made the Pro Bowl 1964 all the way through 1972. One of those players that made it into the Hall of Fame. Not a lot of guys. He's one of those forgotten guys on the offensive line, but he had a huge impact to the Chargers, who won 2 AFL championships, back in those days.
Oh, yeah. We count him over here. We count him.
Yeah, we got to count him.
We count him.
Well, I guess I'll just take the other guard. And, for me, the best guard that I remember watching growing up was Chris Dillman, who I just thought had an awesome story. Undrafted free agent out of, I believe, Indiana is where he went to college. Played tight end and defensive end in college. Didn't really work out for him. They switched him to guard. He went to 4 straight Pro Bowls for us. A key part of those good Charger teams from 2000 to 2010. So I got to put Dillman on the Chargers all-time line.
Nice. Well, let's go over to that defensive line.
Wait, we got one more. I got a center I got to talk about.
There's only one.
There's only one, the great Nick Hardwick. Nick Hardwick snapped the ball to Phillip Rivers his entire career. Every game. He didn't even start playing until Purdue, until he was in college, which is insane to think that a guy didn't even start playing football until then. I think he was drafted like in the fourth or fifth round, third round. He was one of my favorite guys to follow on Instagram, on Twitter. Just a great human being. Full sleeves on both arms, green sleeves, by the way. I loved everything about Nick Hardwick, and him and his relationship with Phillip Rivers is kind of what got me into like football in the first place. I love everything about Nick Hardwick.
Nice. Now to that defensive line. Who's going to be on that front four?
For me, I really think if you put any Charger player from history on this current Charger team who'd make the best impact, I think it would be Jamal Williams. Been stuffing run lanes back in San Diego for 12 years, over a decade of tenure for this Charger team. Jamal Williams is a guy that if I'm talking to a Charger fan and he brings up Jamal Williams as one of their favorite players, I know that they're a diehard Charger fan, because you look at the box score, Jamal Williams doesn't really have a whole lot of tackles, a bunch of sacks or anything like that. What he was letting the rest of his defense make plays, and he was taking on double, triple teams and stuff in run lanes. Jamal Williams, one of the best run stuff and defensive tackles I've ever watched. I love Jamal Williams.
It was a beast.
I'm gonna move over to edge. Leslie O'Neal should be in the Hall of Fame, and it's insane that he's not. I mean, when you look at like the all-time leaders in sacks, you see Hall of Famer, Leslie O'Neal, Hall of Famer. The guy has over 130 sacks in his career, and every player up and down the list near him are all in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he's not it's unforgivable. Leslie O'Neal played in an era 1986 to 1999 where the Chargers really didn't have very many good teams until the one season they made the Super Bowl and lost to the 49ers, and he was a huge part for it. It was toward the back half of his career. Leslie O'Neal definitely needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and it's a shame that he's not.
Yeah, franchise leader in sacks, 105 and a half, 30 more than the next guy on that list.
Just for the Chargers. That's
for the
it.
Chargers. And then went on 2 other seasons and put together 12 extra sacks. So almost 130 sacks on that guy's career. Definitely deserving. The next guy on my defensive line all time has to be Luis Castillo. I think he's listed as a defensive end, but he was a guy I remember playing multiple positions up front. Big guy and part of the heyday for Charger football, those 2006 to 2008 teams where we went 12-4 one year and 14-2 the next. Luis Castillo was a great defender and a big part of those playoff teams.
And then the last player, I'll go with another edge. This is really hard between Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, who are just two phenomenal athletes, but Melvin Ingram definitely has some of those stats. He's a longtime Charger. He was with the Chargers from 2012 to 2020, so he played with us for 8 seasons. In those 8 seasons, he has 50 sacks, which isn't like anything near Leslie O'Neal has, right? But you're just seeing the production from him. I know, his first couple seasons, he was dealing with some ACL injuries, but he was the heart and soul of this Chargers defense for years and years. I love his attitude. I really hate that he's playing for Kansas City because
you gotta play him.
Yeah, we got to play him, and he's still a really good football player. I expect him to play for another 2-3 years. Definitely doesn't have anywhere near those 100 sacks that some of those great players do. I think Joey Bosa
mentioned King Dunlap.
I saw this.
Yeah.
You guys can keep King Dunlap, though. We are taking Darren Sproles. So that's how that one works. We have all the love for Darren Sproles. I know you guys liked him over there in Philadelphia, too. But King Dunlap didn't really play super well for us. I think he's had some very successful careers in Philadelphia. But when he came to us, he was kind of at the end of his career. And
I think he was just capping because King Dunlap never been good.
Because he was not good for us.
He wasn't. He was a very average to below average player for us.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about with Melvin Ingram is I think Joey Bosa is going to overtake him very soon. I just think that when you look at the two players, Joey Bosa's trajectory is going to outplay that of Melvin Ingram, but Bosa hasn't made it there yet.
Oh yeah, he did make the Pro Bowl with the Chargers, huh?
Bosa, Ingram. Oh, are you talking about King Dunlap making the Pro Bowl?
That's what
Yeah.
he said.
If he did,
That was due to injuries. That was guys that were like, yeah, I'm not playing in the Pro Bowl. I'm already making $15 million a year. I don't need the $100K for winning the Pro Bowl. That's what that was. That's like the quarterbacks. Like every quarterback makes the Pro Bowl because most quarterbacks don't ever play in it. You got it by default because you were the least bad of the bad players who didn't want to play in the Pro Bowl.
Well, let's go to linebackers. Give me 3 because I already know 2 probably on the list for sure.
number one, the best Charger of all time has to be Junior Seau. Mr. Football. Love that guy. It's so sad that he's no longer with us. But just another one of players similar to LT. Great on the field, just as great off the field. You knew he really, really cared about this community. So yeah, loved him. Played for 13 years as a Charger, and it seemed like he had 100 tackles every year at least. Some seasons where he had like 150. Led the league in tackles a couple years. So Junior Seau was definitely the top linebacker on my list.
Yeah, one of the best middle linebackers of all time.
I feel like you have to have 3 linebackers because the Chargers did play a 3-4 for a good chunk of that. And with that comes Sean Merriman. Sean Merriman, who was a Rookie of the Year.
Lights out, baby.
Yeah,
He really
Like
only
Sean Merriman
had
a little bit with the hat on.
He only really had like 3 dominant seasons with the Chargers. I know he left for the Bills. He never ended up really getting healthy. By the way, he's a fighter now. I don't know if anybody knows that and follows him on Instagram. He's got his own cage fighting company where, that's what he does. He's always talking about guys, sign them up, sign them up, sign them up. He's one of my favorite personalities, still very much involved with the Chargers franchise.
awesome.
I've got some signed memorabilia from him as well. I got a jersey as well. But Sean Merriman is probably one of the funnest players I've ever had the chance to actually watch in person.
Merriman's great. He's on my list for sure. But number 2, his running mate, Sean Phillips. Second all-time in Charger history, 69.5 sacks. He's the number 2 guy behind Leslie O'Neal. Sean Phillips was awesome, man. Another one of those guys. Not a whole lot of ego. Not going to say too much, but he's going to get after the quarterback and did it at a very, very high level.
And then I'll pick the last one. And this is really hard because he's not really an all-time Charger, but he's an all-time player in my book. Donnie Edwards. Donnie Edwards was phenomenal. He was part of that.
Was good.
Edwards was good. He was all about the military. I'm a veteran myself, so I already loved about him anyways. He played most of his career with the Chiefs, but I feel like he had some of his biggest impacts when he was a member of the Chargers. I loved Donnie Edwards. I loved what he did for this community in San Diego. Nothing near what Junior Seau was to this community, but he tried and he tried hard, and Donnie Edwards was legit. Randall Godfrey, honorable mention.
Godfrey, yeah, he was pretty good for you guys too as well.
Godfrey.
Let's go with 3 cornerbacks.
Yeah, this is a guy, I never really got to physically play football, but just looking at the stats, knowing what he means to this franchise, I can't leave him off this list, and that's Gil Byrd. Versatile, lockdown, cornerback. Also played both safety spots and did so very well. He's a franchise leader with 42 interceptions on his career, so I think we're starting an all-time team. Gil Byrd definitely has to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't think of Chargers players without thinking of Quentin Jammer. Quentin Jammer feels like he played his entire career with us. He wasn't ever the most locked down corner, but he was definitely, he held that spot for so many years. Yeah. He was on part of those, 14-2 team. He was on that team. Quentin Jammer was legit. I was really young watching him play for most of his career, but he definitely had an impact there as well. And then since Zach is going to end up coming back, I'll talk about Casey Hayward being the next on our list.
About him, yeah.
Casey Hayward had some of his best years with us. He was a 2-time All-Pro. Also, he's had a resurgence this year with the Raiders, which sucks because, again, he's with the Raiders, a division rival. But Casey Hayward meant so much to this team over so long. I mean, we gave him a pretty nice farewell when he left, and it was hard to see him leave. I like Chris Harris Jr., but I would have rather kept Casey Hayward because, he was just like a good guy overall for the locker room. You never heard anything bad about his character in the locker room or anything like that. And he was just a really good player for us. Also, he was one of those, we like to call him a coupon Tom Telesco. He was one of those coupon players. We ended up getting him at a fraction of his price of what we should have.
And then, what about, did you guys like Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie?
He was on my list. He was number 4, right? And if we're playing a dime package, he's definitely on that list. Antonio Rodgers-Cromartie, I know he's got like 11, 12, 13 kids. His child support, that shit has to be through the roof.
Right.
But he's got one of the best highlight films of any player I've ever seen. You when you think of him, you think of the Peyton Manning interception where he caught it
one-handed.
Yeah, everybody knows that highlight. He definitely is on that list. Antonio Cromartie was a big player for us. I wish we would have re-signed him. We didn't. I don't know why. Maybe we could have helped him pay some of that child support because, man, it's terrible. And Zach is back. Zach, pick a safety. I already know what safety you're going to pick. Pick a safety.
3 safeties, Zach, since he took all 3 of the corners, right?
Oh, did you take all 3? Who did we get in there?
Yeah, I took the last one. I got Casey Hayward. We got Gilbert, Quentin Jammer, Casey Hayward, and we got an honorable mention for Antonio Cromartie.
Man, Cromartie would be my 3, but that's fair. I'll go with Hayward too because Hayward's my honorable mention. But if we're going to start safeties, I'm going with before James Harden was the beard, there was a man by the name of Eric Weddle who held that.
Weddle.
Eric Weddle is my man. Very, very disappointed how his tenure with the team kind of how that whole thing kind of materialized. But I loved Weddle's play. Very clutch guy. Had 4 touchdowns in 9 seasons. 3 with over 100 tackles. Led the league with some interceptions in 2011. So I love Eric Weddle. I miss the mohawk. I miss the beard. That was a great player for us.
I loved everything about Eric Weddle. I actually got to see him at a Padres game not too long ago. He lives in San Diego. I know he's not super happy with the Chargers franchise with the way that ended. I mean, when I think of Eric Weddle, I automatically go back to Christmas when he would dye the beard kind of that grayish Santa Claus kind of color. And then he was, mic'd up. He was my favorite guys to go and listen to. My next safety, I'm going to talk about Rodney Harrison. Chargers never make the Super Bowl without Rodney Harrison in that lineup. And that was like way back then. And then he got the chance to try to win again when he was with the Patriots. He never ended up winning that Super Bowl, which is terrible to see for such a phenomenal player. And he was a hitter too. That dude used to lay guys out.
Together, man. I've been in a couple of San Diego games when they were both on the team back in the day, man. That was crazy to see both of those guys. Freaks of nature.
So Rodney Harrison's definitely on my list. And then that third one, I think Zach's already know who he's going to pick.
I'm ready to. There are some all-time Chargers on this current roster, and one of them goes by the name of Derwin James. The 2 safeties we talked about, they are great. They are nowhere near the athlete that Derwin James is, and I am going off of all projection here. He is nowhere near there on if you're going to just look at pure production. So far, he's only been in the league a couple years. I just can see, I could tell we have a special player there. We are asking him to do a lot. So you're not really seeing the all-pro season that he had as a rookie. But he'll get there. He's just too gifted. And I think it's only a matter of time before he's rightfully considered one of the best Charger safeties and one of the best safeties of all time, period. I think he can be that good.
Joey Bosa already said that he's a Hall of Fame player.
I think, and he has just those things you can't teach. He has a way to him that I'm just drawn to. That I really, really looking forward to the rest of his career because I think he's going to be special.
Yeah, that's fact. That's fact. Who's gonna be you guys' kicker and punter?
This one's pretty easy.
Kicker. Go ahead. I know you're gonna pick. Go for it.
You go because I wanted to talk about
John
more about
Carney.
the punter anyway. Yeah.
Our kicker is John Carney. John Carney played in the NFL for like 22 seasons, 23 seasons. He came in 1988 and retired in 2010. Think about how long. That's
Carney,
such
don't
an
talk to us about
insanely.
Kading.
No,
We don't
that's
want to
such
talk
an
about Kading.
insane length of time to be a kicker. He played until he was 46 years old. That's insane. Who does that?
All the years were with you guys?
No, he played
No.
with us from 1991 to 1999. So he gave us, 9 years. He ended up going to New Orleans and finishing his career out there. Played almost
That's
the same
right.
number of seasons. But I mean, he's an all-time kicker. He's on the all-time points list. We have an all-time player at kicker, just in the wrong era.
Yeah. Franchise leader in points, over 1,000 during his just his career in San Diego. If we're gonna go punter, we haven't really. I'm going Mike Cyphers.
Oh yeah, I love you.
We
bro.
gotta go Cyphers. There's no other option for me. Not only is he the best punter in Chargers history, he's one of the best punters ever. 12th in NFL history with 45.2 yards per punt. That guy just pinned teams back. And I remember specifically a playoff game against Indianapolis when Peyton Manning was in his prime. Cyphers had 6 punts in that game, pinned them all beyond 20 yards. And Tony Dungy came out after that game and said Mike Cyphers was the all-star. They won because of Mike Cyphers, and we really did. The defense played a big part of it, but Mike Cyphers, they don't really make punters like him anymore.
Yeah, we got one over here in Philly in Sippos. He's from Australia, my guy. He's looking really good out there. But yeah, man, that's
And the
good,
Chargers,
man.
I have to give an honorable mention because Darren Bennett was also a legit punter, and he didn't
Bennett,
even
that's
start.
what I remember too. Yeah, Bennett.
He didn't even start punting until he was 30 years old, and then he punted for like 10 or 11 years.
We got a lot
10
of late
years.
bloomers on the team, right?
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
that's a late bloomer right there, man.
we got all the late bloomers. Gates didn't play football until college, and now he's one of the best football players of all time. So it seems like if you're going to be a late bloomer, come to the Chargers. We're going to make it happen for you.
All right. And he said John Kidd was a good punter for you guys.
Can't remember.
Yeah, that name
I'm
doesn't
pretty
ring a bell.
good. I'm pretty good with historical Chargers. I'm not gonna lie. Like I can go all the way back to the '60s. I've done a lot of research. I do it for my magazine. My next issue, you'll actually see me give like different segments to like Chargers of old. I have no idea who that guy is.
Tell him, Grant. Tell him who he is. What year is that? Grant knows like everybody's team and everybody.
Yo, bro, I was born in '91. The fact that I know guys in the '80s, '70s, and '60s.
Yeah.
That says a lot about me. I don't know who that guy is.
Man, I always feel old on these shows. What's your defensive coordinator?
I guess you go take it because mine's honestly shouldn't be the DC of all time.
It's hard. I split between Ron Rivera and Wade Phillips. I like Wade Phillips just for his type of defense that he runs, that 3-4. Let's go get after the quarterback. But Ron Rivera obviously has been the better coach throughout his career, mainly because he was a phenomenal head coach with the Panthers. He's doing it now with the Washington football team, Redskins, whatever you want to call them.
On our team too.
Yeah. So Ron Rivera has been legit as a coach, as a leader of men. But Wade Phillips, I have to get I'm going to have 2 defensive coordinators on my defense. It's just how it's going to be.
I just to, be the deciding factor here, I went with Wade Phillips over Ron Rivera, specifically because Wade Phillips spent 3 seasons as the Chargers defensive coordinator. Ron Rivera spent 4 years with the team, but 2 as a linebackers coach, only 2 as the defensive coordinator. So that's kind of my criteria. Also, the biggest factor to me was Wade Phillips. He was the defensive coordinator in 2004 and 2006, the best Chargers seasons of all time. So that's kind of why I give it to Wade Phillips. Going into offense,
one of the best defensive coordinators like in NFL history. You go back to his time with the Broncos. He finally got his chance to coach with the Cowboys. I feel like he needed a little more time there. I could give it to Wade Phillips.
Nice.
Also, the son of Plum Phillips.
In the 80s and 90s. So for your new one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, John Kidd. I did not know about John Kidd.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know kickers that old.
Punt returner. Would you guys go with Darren Sproles, Mike Fuller?
I'm going Darren Sproles 100% of the time. Just so
Eric Metcalf, honorable mention.
Oh yeah, you got to have Metcalf too.
But we didn't have him for very long. We had Sproles for a while. Eric Metcalf definitely in there.
Sproles won us some games though with his returnability. Yeah, and Sproles was electrifying. We've been really missing that part of our game since he left. And it was just so exciting because you were just on the edge of your seat every time.
We know here in Philly. He's
anytime
still
there's
here,
a
my
kickoff.
guy. We love us some Sprolesies.
So you know exactly
here,
what I'm
man.
talking
And he
about.
loved in New Orleans as well, man. Like all three fan bases enjoyed them some Darren Sproles. Offensive coordinator.
You take it.
To me, it's Cam Cameron.
Yeah.
He looking at the rest of the list, it's not Norv Turner for me. I'm not going to give Norv any type of I'm not going to give Norv any type of love. I'm a devout Norv hater. I also I don't think Wisenhunt was really the key to our success all those years. I really thought it was more Phillip being Phillip over than him being a good coordinator. And then I'm just going back to my heyday, 2002 to 2006 when the Chargers were legit. Cam Cameron, he was the reason LT had that, MVP season in 2006 was the reason that he set the record for single season touchdown. So I got to go with Cam Cameron. The team was the most competitive when he was the offensive coordinator.
I will say, and this is an honorable mention, but you have to go way back. Bill Walsh was one of our offensive coordinators back in the heyday. Joe Gibbs was as well. We had two really good, but that is so long ago. That's before, Bill Walsh was Bill Walsh, right? But Bill Walsh was an offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
I forgot he was.
Like I told you, I know Chargers history. I don't know who this kid guy is.
He didn't have kid. Who's the head coach then?
I think this is in agreement. On the count of three, we could say this, and we're both going to say the same name. One,
I don't think we will.
2, 3. Don Coryell. You're gonna pick Marty Sharton at me. You're gonna pick Marty.
Oh,
I'll tell you why. You go ahead about Coryell, and then I'll just tell you why I'm going with Marty.
Don Coryell completely changed the NFL by himself. I don't know how you not pick Don Coryell, a guy who should be in the Hall of Fame. I love some Marty Ball, but Marty Ball in today's NFL would be trash. It would not, could you imagine, we had LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian Tomlinson made Marty Schottenheimer into the Chargers coach. And don't get me wrong, Marty was a pretty damn good coach with his time with the Chiefs, but he wasn't Don Coryell. Don Coryell completely changed the NFL for the rest of the world, for the rest of its entire existence. Don Coryell did that. He did that himself. While he doesn't have the Super Bowl to go with it, I mean, he remodernized the NFL, and he was well ahead of. I mean, he brought together Chargers passing football. He turned it into the NFL, and every NFL playbook is based off of his playbook.
Now you have the right. You have the right answer.
That is a strong argument.
I know I have the right answer. You're just trying to go against me.
No, Coryell's the right answer. No, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with. No, Coryell is the right answer there. 100% of the time, Don Coryell is the head coach of the all-time Chargers team. I had to go with Marty specifically because that era of football, 14-2, that era of Charger football, that got me into football. That got me into being a Charger fan. So Marty, Schottenheimer, LT, those teams from 2000 to 2008, They are the reason I'm here talking to you today. So I don't become the fan I am without Marty. And it was frustrating, believe me.
That's a good
Man,
response.
I gotta
so
start looking for a
frustrated.
new podcast host. Any takers out there? Who's out there? I'm just kidding with you. I love Marty. I get it. You know, Marty Schottenheimer is the reason why I'm a fan of the Chargers. I became a fan of the Chargers right around the time LaDainian Tomlinson was drafted. I grew up on Marty Ball. I hated the fact that we fired him when we got into this power struggle between AJ Smith and Marty Schottenheimer. I get it. But the right answer is Don Coryell, and he said it, and we know it. Yeah.
He's revolutionary to the
What about
game
Bobby
overall.
Ross? He said he took you guys to your first Super Bowl.
He did, but what did he do before and after? Did he win the Super Bowl?
No.
That's all you got to say to that. Yeah. Did
No,
he
he got
remodernize?
destroyed.
Did he remodernize, or did he ride a really good defense? Was he handed a team? Did he build the team? What did Bobby Ross do outside of take the team to the Super Bowl in a year that he had a really good roster?
What about this Sid Gilman?
Sid Gilman, one of the winningest Chargers head coaches of all time, for sure. He didn't do anything Don Coryell did. He didn't do anything Marty Schottenheimer did.
Yeah, I think the answer is Coryell, like I said, because of his impact on the game. And then I'm going Marty
He said
Schottenheimer.
he was looking for a new host. Now he's like, yeah, that is the
No,
right answer.
No,
You're right.
Zach's my dude. Zach's my guy.
I was like,
I took Zach to his first Chargers game at SoFi
Chargers
Stadium.
home game.
Look
First
at
Chargers
that.
home game.
I
My
did.
My first Chargers game was
It's my
the
guy.
last Charger Raider game in Oakland. I was not very, very popular that day. I was much more popular when Tyler took me to SoFi, which is an
It was
amazing
awesome.
stadium. And if anyone gets the chance to go, I'd say go check it out because it's an amazing facility.
I got to get out of here, bro.
yeah,
My
yeah,
wife's
yeah,
been
yeah,
calling me
this
for
dude.
dinner for a while
You know,
now.
I'm
You guys
overdue
go
for dinner
ahead.
too.
I
Go
thought
ahead
this was
and,
going to be an hour long, and you know what? I had a
We're having
great time.
fun.
Yeah, it went past. Usually they are an hour long. I was looking at the top two. That's why we had to get into this. But yeah, let everybody know where they can find you guys at one last time before you guys get out of here.
You can find us at LAC Shock Therapy. You can find us on all the podcast platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, wherever it is. You can find me specifically at the Masterable Zach at Zach Alfers, ZACALFERS,
Go get his magazine.
VTHEE.
I was gonna say,
Hit me up
hit
for
us
my
DMs and
magazine.
We'll get you that magazine.
Hit me up for the magazine. I'll send it over to you guys' email. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Bird Gang 31,
Yeah,
for
Bird
having
Gang,
us
this was
on. We had a
awesome.
lot
This
of
was
fun.
so much fun.
It was
Really,
definitely
it
fun,
was.
guys.
great.
Thank you guys for coming on. Hey, man. Thank you guys again. Like you said, we still got 15 in the chat. Please hit that like on the way out. Go get his magazine. Make
Hey.
sure you go get that magazine. Even though we're Eagle fan, we can always support everybody. So much love to all you guys for coming on the show. Fly, Eagles, fly. Till next
This is where we
time.
got to end it. Let's go, bolt up,
Bolt
baby.
up.
Wait. Fly, Eagles, fly. Don't be bring that bolt stuff over here. Nah,
Bolt,
wait.
baby.
Bolt
You
up.
can't fly in an electric in a thunderstorm. It's not good.
That's a good one. Like I said before, hold on. This is my show. I'm gonna end it. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Take it easy, brother, man.
We
Thank you so
out.
much.
Peace.
Hey, later.